guys, and welcome back to day 4 of the VCT Game Changers APAC Elite, where in just a few more days, we'll know which team is going to represent APAC in Brazil for the Global Game Changers Championships. I'm your host, Jenny Julie, and with me on the desk for today is one of my favorite panelists, Raph. Raph, where are we at today?
Stop lying. I know that's not true. I'm kidding, but you know, it's always a pleasure to have you on the desk and just kind of talk about everything. And you're absolutely right. You know, the days of choosing who or teams fighting for the Brazil slot is still as messy as my hair for some reason. I can never get it right on the first try, especially on our first opening. But yes, thanks for the lovely intro as I get a little sidetracked apparently.
Your hair is always great. Don't worry about it.
Don't lie. That's lie number 2 of the opening panel.
Hey, I never lie to you.
Sure.
Anyway, your lighting looks great. You know, we heard you had to change your light bulb just now for some reason.
Don't leak backstage information. You know, that's the secret stuff. Don't. But you know, here we are. I hope the lighting is better. This light bulb's infinitely brighter than the ones I've had in the past, but this is already such an interesting opening, Raichu, and I like the whole, you know, the merch getup still.
Yep. We're still rocking the merch. I mean, this isn't like Valorant, but it counts because, you know, it's League of Legends. It's still going on now. It's still the World Series, you know. So yeah, but talking about the games, the series that we have today, I could not be more excited for today's games because, you know, this is day number 4. We've kind of like, there are 8 teams, right, in Elite. So on day 4, it's kind of when we're seeing like more of the closer matchups. I think we're going to expect more of the series to go that full distance. Today, we're going to start off with NYX Kyosei going up against MLT in a matchup that, you know, we've seen a couple of times, especially over in LCQ last month, so that's definitely going to be interesting.
I think it was a few days ago where I said that it's a little unlucky that the LCQ teams fell into the lower bracket, but again, just a quick refresher for everybody. This has been such a long and potentially arduous journey for all of our teams.
Yep, and talking about that LCQ, right, that was played just last month, but earlier on in the year, we had Stage 1 open. We had a total of 3 opens from March all the way till July to place the top 6 teams that made it through to Elite. And as we said, MLT versus NYX Kyosei, both these teams, they're the 7th and 8th slots coming into Elite. Both of them made it up through the last chance qualifiers that were last month. So definitely very interesting. As you can see on the screens right now, we are into Stage 3 Elite. We are playing for this entire week on broadcast, and today, day number 4, it's elimination on the line. It's going to be the very first day where we have to say goodbye to 2 teams, and who's that going to be at the end of today?
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. You know, every time we talk about lower bracket days like this, I can't help but feel a little sad for any of the teams that might exit, but again, that's just the nature of the beast. And to remind everybody who's still competing, well, it's right in front of your screen with the greatest logo, of course. Look at NYX Kyosei. I love that.
I mean, they're definitely the fan favorite team, right? If not fan favorite team, then definitely the fan favorite award for best logo from any of the teams. You saw a couple of, you know, other cute ones and last chance qualifiers, but I think definitely for Elite, hands down, they've got the best one. Kind of reminds me of Mochi, actually, one of your dogs. Am I tripping?
I mean, I think she's also part Shih Tzu, so you know it's fine. Like, they're both fluffy, they're both adorable. I see the resemblance. I see why it would remind you of the other, but you know, man, again, just to remind everybody what's on the line. Aside from the slot in Brazil, it's this huge prize pool.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. I think the prize pool for the earlier opens earlier in the year was like $10K US per open. This time around for Elite, everything is just amped up to the max. $35,000 prize cool. And first place gonna go back with $12,000 to fly to Brazil with, and 7th to 8th place as well. As long as you make it through to Elite, you're going home with $1,000 too. So definitely a pretty hefty, pretty sweet prize pool, and it's just, indicative of the amount of support that keeps going into the Game Changer circuit, and we couldn't be happier.
That's true. And, every time we get into a new stage, the teams are always getting better. The strats are always getting deeper. And, we're just so happy that there's a lot of fans out there and there's a lot of love and support from everywhere. But speaking of the teams, it kind of feels like this has been a bit of a summary for the entire year, not just for SMG, but pretty much for everyone else too. Very, very similar performances across the board.
Yeah, I think it's similar in terms of the results that we've been seeing for the most part. But I think that we've also, even despite like a lot of series looking like O2, except for last night's Full Sense versus RQ, I think that a lot of the 2-0 series have actually been very close. We'll talk a bit more about this later on as we delve a bit more into the analysis. But just if you're looking at your screens and you're like, oh, it's just 2-0s across the board, do not be fooled. Just so many of these series have been very close. Like MLT, their 2-0 series, they did get 2-0'd by OGX on Monday, but it was 13-10 and then 13-9. So a lot of these games, the girls, the teams have just stepped up across the board coming into Elite.
That's true, and that's exactly what they needed to do. Everybody, as you mentioned, stepped up their game, and despite having a 2-0, most of the scores have been pretty close. Even with the non-LCQ teams, it's been pretty competitive for the most part, unless of course it's an SMG game. I don't know how SMG does it. They just make it look like they already own the place. And, just for a quick recap for all the SMG fans out there, I still remember at the beginning of the year, it's like, wow, this roster is already super packed with talent and, all of that. And then suddenly they add an area and it's like, I see what you're trying to do here.
Yep. We didn't see what happened at the end of last year for Elite, so we don't want to write off any of the other teams just yet. There's definitely always that potential for the last minute upset from anyone coming into this week. But I love also that, we saw Sunset over on Monday. There might be potential to maybe see Sunset today, but I just found it so funny that in the SMG versus NYX Kyosei series over on Monday, NYX was the one that picked the Sunset, and we're like, okay, great. SMG, they pretty much have that 100% win rate on most of the maps, and NYX are like, you know what, we're gonna pick the one map that SMG don't have that 100% win rate on. They're going to pick that Sunset, but didn't quite work out for them. But there's still hope. There's still hope for them to pull that one out today. But guys, we're gonna take a look at our snazzy new video intros for the teams. That's the roster coming up from NYX Kyosei on your screens. Delbisky, Piety, Capricious, Khan, and Ka-Chow. I like how she's going by Capricious this time around. I think they registered her under some BD1, like somebody one, and you're like somebody who, and you're like, oh wait, this girl's Capricious. We know her. But I like that she's, going back to her roots, going back to her old IGN that I think everyone watching the league absolutely recognizes. But these girls, comparatively new roster, I think they're probably the second most new roster into Elite. The newest, of course, is going to be MLT. They did join Elite during Open 2, so midway through the year, midway through the circuit, they've had a couple of roster changes as well. And in the intro video, there was Liz as well as Shuni, who sub in and out for the team. But next up, it's going to be MLT. And there you have it, the roster from the side of MLT Esports, GC, Luna, Iluvu, K-Freddy, who won't be playing today, pretty sure, Envious, and Samfire. I think it will be Tess, very likely, that we'll see. We did see her a couple of days ago. I think K-Freddy has taken a break for Ely.
We will have to see, but remembering, I think Tessa's opening performance for MLT, I think she had some shining moments already.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's always good to have a player like that just right off the bat. There's already immediate compatibility, especially with, again, if I'm not mistaken, a more controller-oriented role. She does flex just a little bit, but mostly on that controller. But, talking about this head-to-head between MLT and Capricious Squad, you were right. You're right on the money there. These are relatively new teams, but MLT, I still think they're also in that developing stage. They have, once again, you have like these signs of good play that they're still developing a protocol, still developing a real game plan in some of these cases. But hopefully this isn't the last time we're gonna see them, at least for the year, because once again, just to remind everybody, the weight of the day, it's an elimination day.
Yep, absolutely. We do play in a double elimination bracket. We've played double elim the entire year. So, both of these teams already lost their first series over on Monday. We do have second chances, but no third chances, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's all down to the wire this time around, as you were saying. I think Tess as well as IU were brought in this time around for Elite. For MLT, I think Luna is probably one of the players that we really want to watch out for. I think coming into Elite and then watching her series on Monday as well, she's definitely going to be one of the key players if MLT are going to want to try and find success today. But talking about them finding success, we have seen this matchup already before. We did see this in the upper semifinals for LCQ from last month, where MLT did beat NYX 2-1 in their previous best of 3 series. I think the big question is going to be, will today go any different from the last time that these two teams met? And it looks like right off the bat already, it's going to be Lotus for map 1, Breeze for map 2, and if we do get to that map 3 decider for elimination, it will go to Sunset. Raph, what are your immediate thoughts?
I'm thinking of how NYX Kyosei is going to approach this, or rather how MLT Esports is going to be approaching NYX Kyosei, because I feel like this is quite a different NYX Kyosei in comparison to that LCQ iteration, right? Because it looks like
Absolutely.
we're going to have Kachao on the starting lineup. So I think I'm going to maybe bank on the fact that NYX Kyosei is going to be leaning a little bit towards that firepower, because if we just kind of look at how they used to play, at least in LCQ, they were a lot more methodical. They took quite a slow pace, and they did emphasize safety. But with the change of having Kachao, they obviously already have Dobisky, they obviously already have Capricious plus Kachao. So it might just kind of push that balance between, are we gonna explode a lot? Are we gonna go take a lot of gunfights that way? And again, MLT, hopefully they're not going to have difficulty into dealing with that, because again, as history mentioned and as you've mentioned, they did have trouble in LCQ dealing with this squad.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, NYX Kyosei, they're a squad that seems to have so much firepower for their side. Right? You've got the Delbisky as well as the Piety duo. They're both like the hardcore correct aimers on their squad. I mean, Delbisky on Monday, one of their maps, they lost 4-13 versus SMG. She was still like 14-16 on Jet. Piety as well, I remember over on map 1, she was playing Cypher. It was like 13-5 on Sunset, but she ended that game 18-14 also. So it's like, despite the round scoreline, I think absolutely, NYX Kyosei have members of the squad that can show up. Today is when we need them to show up. Historically also, Khan has been bagging like all the MVPs, like LCQ as well. Like, she just picks up pretty much most of the MVPs for her squad as Sova on the Sova also. So it's going to be exciting to see. I think Lotus to start things off is always going to be a great map. There's just so much potential, so many ways that you can try to not play meta and like cook up new things. So I'm pretty excited to see. What do you think we're going to get from the agent composition?
Well, I do agree with the fact that Lotus is quite flexible in terms of agent composition, as you mentioned, but I think we might see a double controller versus double ini again, which is super common for game changers. And I feel like it's going to be MLT leaning into perhaps the double controller just because they want, at least, right, like on paper, they don't want to take too many unnecessary fights against NYX Kyosei, so they might just kind of want to divvy up the map here. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're gonna have an Astra on the field, an Omen on the field, maybe even an Astra Omen or an Astra Viper, things of that nature.
Yeah, and just taking a look at the compositions that these teams do like to tend to run on Lotus. I think like NYX, for example, we've got about like 8 times that they played this in competitive from them. They played about like 3 different compositions. Sometimes they play the Fade, sometimes they play the Breach. I think they've run like a total of 3 different compositions on this map. So, on the side for MLT also, they kind of like go back and forth between the Jet, the Raze. Sometimes they have the Fade in there. So, it's pretty much a toss up, I think, what we're going to see for today. But guys, I think we got word from production that one of the players is experiencing a bit of a delay on the side of one of the teams. So unfortunately, I think we will be going for a very short break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be back very shortly.
Show me what you got. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back,
the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank.
Hit you with the 808.
Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Show me what you got. Back down, up, back down, back up. 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 Back Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break. Bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank.
Hit you with the 808.
Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, bang,
Show me what you got. Back down, up, back down, back up. 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 Back Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back,
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Well, that was a break, guys, but we are back. Hopefully, about ready to hop into game for Map 1, Series 1 between NYX, Kyosei, and MLT. Just to remind y'all of where we're at in this map number 1. We've got the map picks out, we've got Lotus ready on hand, but we're just waiting just that little bit more to hop into that agent select. And I think before the break, we were having a little chat about what possible agent compositions we were going to see. I think that we managed to pull up some interesting stats during that break as well. Zach, our caster for later, spoiler alert, kindly, dropped us the stats earlier on, gave us that little cheat sheet. And NYX versus MLT, we have seen them. We've seen this matchup in LCQ before. We also saw them play Lotus last month during the Swiss stage of LCQ. and that went the way of NYX Kyosei, who does have a 100% win rate over here on Lotus. But it was a pretty close game. It was 13-10, so who knows how this one's gonna go. What do you think?
That's the crazy thing I feel like about NYX Kyosei, especially with how things were for LCQ. It would look like they'd be down and out for the map, but they'd managed to kind of claw themselves back into the competition. But I think we're going to be jumping right into the agent select, so speculation is potentially over as soon as we jump right into it, and we're actually going to go Fade. I feel like Fade's been definitely underrated in the last few patches. People have been saying she's quote-unquote weaker now. I still think she's had her applications, and she's still very good, especially in the proper comps and proper approaches to the map.
Yeah, so this is really interesting for me because pretty much for both of these teams, generally when they do play Lotus, they stick to the same core and then they should do a little switcheroo sometimes. For NYX Kyosei, they almost always play with the Killjoy Omen Rays on Lotus, and then the last time that they played versus MLT, they did pick up the Fade as well as Sky as well because they won. It kind of, makes sense that they're going to pick this exact composition again. For MLT, the last time that they faced NYX on Lotus, they also did play Fade, so it also makes sense for them to be like, you know what, we're not going to run the same composition that we lost to NYX on the last time. We're going to switch things up a bit. They do go with the Jet Sky along with the KJ, Omen, and Viper. It's a comp they've played together before, but just not against NYX yet. So really quickly before we toss over to our casters, Raph, what are your predictions?
I think NYX is going to take this. Historically speaking, they've been very good, and it looks like they really want to play their cards aggro here. So, NYX 2-0.
NYX 2-0, all right. I'm going to go with the 2-1. I feel like if NYX don't take map 1, then it's going to be maybe an MLT 2-0. Otherwise, 2-1, anyone's game on Sunset. But guys, we're about ready to finally hop into that map number 1. Here, casting the games for y'all today, it's going to be Terrar and Zach. Zachrar, take us in.
Yo, I like that. I'm gonna trademark that as our casting duo name. But yes, it is Terrar and Zach bringing you the action for the elimination day of Game Changers Elite. Unfortunately, after the series, we're gonna have to say goodbye to one of those teams. Hi there, Fifi!
Oh no, we have to say goodbye to one of them. Why can't we just keep them all, man? But anyway, we are finally here after so long. We basically told each other our life story at this point, but nevertheless, I know you guys have been waiting for this matchup, especially this is very important for all the teams that we have for today, since this is already the elimination match basically for Elite. The last step to go to Sao Paulo, Brazil for the championship. So this is very essential for all the teams right now. Game number 1 it is, and we're finally starting here, Zach. They had their predictions. Do you have yours?
I mean, look, both of these teams, they have gotten a win against each other that we've seen in the LCQ.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to who wins this third engagement. It's all the money's on this particular one. But talking about Lotus in particular, I think that NYX's track record is just a little bit better. Sure, they haven't played any of the heavyweight teams like SMG or Sapphire on this map. But aside from that, they still have that 100% win rate. So it's going to be a little bit of confidence coming in. But that said, NYX, they're going to have to start with a pretty strong attacking half here. This map does tend to be a little bit attacker-sided the way it goes. And you can already see them not only getting that orb control on B, but also just taking this B side very quickly. Now pushing that second lane towards CT. Possibility of a kill here in the corner, but they don't check it. Luna able to find 2. Looking for a little bit more. He even gets the headshot before Capricious takes her down. And just like that, Envious sneaks in. And MLT, they get the pistol.
Such a fast round. Not checking Luna there was very deadly for the side of NYX. Was able to even get a dink on the third one before going down as well. MLT securing this first point out. And like you mentioned a while ago, Zach, statistics don't lie. And NYX was able to win one game away from, or rather one Lotus map away from MLT before. So this might be that redemption match that MLT is looking forward to and can come back to, because they already have that reference from the previous matchup as well. But nonetheless, they do have this double initiator lineup for the side of NYX, which can be really, really aggressive for the time being. And we all know this is also a map which is heavily favoring towards that attack side. But let's see, let's figure out what they're gonna do for this second round, as they are just holding on to their pistols as well. Libisky, really good on the sharp shots from the previous matches that we watched her as well. So let's see if she can hit those shots.
Yeah, not much to work with here, unfortunately, for the NYX side. However, that's going to be a headshot coming in right off the bat. Kachao takes a decent chunk of damage too, but that's going to be NVS tagged up heavily. Now, reinforcement coming in towards the site, looking for a bit of a heal as well. And off the back of that, NVS able to find the kill onto Kachao, completing the job. You can still see that the side of NYX, they're holding on here, hoping for a bit more of aggression to come out of the NYX side, but they're just in their holding patterns, maintaining the stack they have here. The push from Luna comes out, but Pairi and Delbiski, between them, are able to find 2 huge kills. Ilubu rotates over, only a Marshall in hand, has to watch the loss here. With the Spectre, it's going to be Pairi to come out on top, and now it's a 2v2.
It's a 2v2 for the time being for NYX's side. Especially, they were just on pistols here. This is already a well-executed round for them. But yet again, the flank, or rather, the reinforcements coming in from MLT's side is definitely here. Aphrodite is holding on to a ghost as well, throwing in the snake bites to try and flush out the enemy side. But this is a post plan being held onto by NYX's, and they already have the guns as well. The tap on the spike, this might be the executed they're waiting on. This is a default setup for the side, or for the side of NYX, and that's gonna be the cleanup crew from Paiti as well. A really good round coming in from NYX, to say the least.
Yeah, their patience was really rewarded towards the end. In particular, I think that Ilubu being stuck on site alone and her going down, as well as the upgraded weaponry that the NYX squad were able to pick up with their fight towards Mound, I think that it was really a huge difference maker there. And that was a round that MLT kind of made a lot of mistakes on, and NYX were quick to find the punish on them. Economy going to be reverted now in NYX's favor. They are charging up these ultimates as well. Pairi are more than halfway there to that lockdown for the Killjoy, but on the opposite side, it's been Luna who's been hitting some nutty shots so far. Talking about nutty shots though, it's going to be an MLT stack towards his B side, and Ilubu to find an opener with that Sheriff. Capricious with the reswing, at least finds a trade, but that's a 1-for-1 so far.
Good trade so far from the side of Capricious as well. Now the turns have tabled, or the tables have turned for the time being, as MLT is the one on the pistols that they have right now. We've seen the Thrifty coming in from NYX. It's not impossible for MLT's side to make the same thing as well. Capricious just waiting patiently on the smoke. If someone disrespects it as well, they're ready to take on the action. And aside from that, again, you still have that double innie that could really clear up spaces here. Really important on checking on the corners as well. So with the regards to NYX's composition, it's really deadly for the side of MLT, and they really have to be careful, especially on the defense itself.
Yeah, they've been playing much more passively in this round, like you mentioned, as a result of that economic deficit, as well as just lessons learned from that previous round here.
30
Envious
seconds
that
left.
first point of contact on the C side. With the clock ticking as far as it has to be C where this execute eventually comes in. Utility coming down will give Envious the Q. She finds the first kill with the Sheriff, will be hit by that beautiful Paranoia, which will force her off the angle. But MLT, they still have the numbers in their favor here. Another couple of kills, and that might be what they need to make this work. Safe plan coming through on the site itself. Still a 3v4 scenario, and you can see MLT still holding all these crucial angles. Sheriff's in hand. All it takes is a couple of headshots, and they managed to find the first 2 already to start things off. They look to push in through CT. Alarm bot gonna give away that information. Trent as well, doing a little bit more damage in the on the side along with Chow. Finds the damage and the kills to give NYX their second round.
They knew exactly where they're supposed to be in that post-plant positions as well. Might as well be on the side or hold that cross for the time for them to take on the site. And other than that, you know that a Sheriff shot can go a long way, especially in long angles. And we've seen that from Envious. I do like the waiting here, or waiting for the retake here for the side of MLT coming in from Envious as well. But to say the least, the deficit on the guns itself was already huge for NYX, and they were able to clean up and take that round away. This is a 2-1 right now, officially a buy round for the side of MLT. Aggression towards A Rubble here, and so far it's just waiting for the time being. It's a 1-to-1 trade, but Alu taking on 2, even 3
Spike
for the
down
time or
A.
for the team of MLT.
Got that additional backup from Luna as well, and it's surprising that Alubu finds so much there, especially with her being caught out by the Haunt. Additional mid pressure being applied by NYX as they find a kill onto this B side. Still though, it's a 2v2 situation. Numbers in favor of the MLT roster. Chow doing her best to hold on here, maybe retrieve that spike, but it's still going to be a 1-to-1 on site. Samfire all the way in spawn takes down Piety on the lurk, and now it's just up to Kachao to try and clutch it out. She finds that first kill, retrieves the spike. Now it's going to come down to her versus Samfire, and she knows that Samfire is playing around spawn, so it's just going to be a rotate over to that C site.
Yep, they do had that kill for the lurk here for MLT's side. They know exactly where Samfire is located, but yet again, Kachao's utility usage here really helped her in this really difficult situation on A while ago, and
Spike
she's still full
planted.
on HP as well. So this is really huge for the time, and for NYX as well. This is the Seekers being pulled out. They know exactly, or Kachao knows exactly where Samfire is going to be, but this time around, she's just walking through, trying to play for that contact, and Kachao might be able to spot her out. That's gonna be the kill for Kachao. A triple for this round. NYX to secure another round.
Really, really nice clutch to come out of Kachao towards the end. A little bit of mistakes made in that spacing from MLT's side. They take such an early advantage here with the kills from Alubu and Luna. They have control of the spike as well, but just awkward positioning. It kind of enabled Kachao to find the 1v2 successfully. Like you can see Luna still playing up close and personal. No potential of a trade as Samfire was so far away. And Kachao takes full advantage of that to be able to power through and really extend the lead for NYX. Now, NYX, so many ultimates that are pretty close to coming to fruition. In particular, that lockdown from Heidi is what I have my eyes on, and unfortunately for the side of MLT, once again it's going to be a bit of an economic deficit. Hero Guardian on Aluvu, apart from that, Sheriffs across the board, so they're going to have to be very careful as to how they want to approach these fights.
Like you said, especially on those buy rounds as well, Zach, the initial aggression that MLT is showing here towards NYX, it just doesn't seem to work out. It feels like NYX knows exactly what the plan is going to be from the side of MLT, and they fight back with this aggression. Again, you do have that double innie. You have that flashes to play around with. If there's certain aggressions, you can definitely take info. Not only that, but able to execute for a quick trade-off.
So far, though, not too much aggression coming out of the NYX squad. They felt the bite of these sheriffs that MLT bring to the battle, so just trying to find safety in numbers here. You can see a 4v1 split coming through. Again, though, just the utility to come out of Aphrodite here with Viper finds a kill. Still, though, trade gonna be there thanks to the mollies that will let Delbisky find a
30
bit more
seconds
space.
left.
And just like that, the seaside, it's been completely taken. NYX, they take full control and get that spike down.
Spike
No
planted.
angle for Luna to really work with. The turret will spot her out to boot, but still, it's a 4v4. Oh, the lurk from Con. So much damage.
Really huge when you take up space like that, especially even on a post-land situation. Luna was able to secure still a kill here. There's the flash settling in, no one to find, and this is gonna be Piety with a double already on towards Waterfall. Luna, the only woman remaining here for the team of MLT, only a sheriff on hand with 27 HP as well. She has to look and was going to be able to pick up a gun here, to say the least, but she still has to find and figure out where the rest of the members of Nexus are. But the thing is, they're just playing around time. Piety to secure the kill, and 4 kills for this round for Piety. She dies off, but nevertheless, they still have money to buy for the next round.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna be worrying about money for the next few rounds there. They have quite a bit of a bank. I saw 6K on at least 3 players there before we switch back to the replay here. But like you mentioned, really great round to come out of Piety there. 4 kills for her, has the lockdown ready to go. And overall, I think she was just really instrumental in finding those crucial trades for NYX, because MLT, they were doing the damage. Con only got 1 on the lurk, so that was a rifle that they were able to pick up as well. But the timing on Piety's swing there really let her capitalize and find those 2 kills, which brought the numbers back in NYX's favor. Finally, though, we're going to be getting a fair buy round for both of these sides once again. No ultimates, unfortunately, available for the MLT squad, really. I don't think we're going to be seeing the Blade Storm used. Nightfall, though, took him out of the NYX squad as they look to take space and a beautiful combo to catch Kira Aphrodite off guard.
They do always catch Aphrodite in this positioning as well. NYX securing a plant onto A site. It's a full-fledged A site since the start of the round itself. Now, MLT has to play for that retake scenario. They do have the dog to clear out the angles here, but this is only drop being cleared out. They get sucked in by the Fade Util as well. It's still a 5v4, but make it different right now. It's a 5v2. This post-plant situation from the side of NYX is just perfect for them. Really flawless round coming in from NYX.
I love the cleanness of these executes to come out of NYX in a lot of these rounds. Like, they had a battle plan and they stuck to it. Nightfall to take up space along with Delvisky's utility. Put the lockdown for an extra 10 seconds, well, 8 seconds once that spike goes through. And after that, they just played a post plan, the double peaks, the discipline. It was all there. And now NYX, they have 5 rounds in a row on Lotus. We talked about it before. This is one of their best maps, 100% win rate. We heard it from the panel, and they are on track to just cycling these ultimates perfectly. They used 2 in the previous round, but they still have the showstopper. Need to go. Not anymore, though. Because the Blade Storm takes her down. Still,
No
though, it's gonna
showstopper.
be a 2 for 2. Yeah.
No showstopper no more. An immediate shutdown, to say the least. 3v3 situation. The hop out on that snake bite and that smoke. I would rather not, but it's over and done with. Damage has been done. 2v2 situation. NYX still has that space to plant the spike here. MLT, they tried to repossession, tried to wrap around the entirety of the map as well. But again, for the side of NYX, this post-plant situation has been working out great for them so far.
Yeah, they've taken space towards CT as well, so that's one area of the map that they don't have to worry about. Caprish is gonna be that first point of contact, spots out that first player. Kachao will be taking another angle as well.
One
in the
enemy
background, so if
remaining,
she can
dude.
find this kill, it's gonna be
One
but
enemy
the enemy has to
remaining.
come out on top. However, Caprish just brings it down to a 1v1. Just playing for time here. Another dark cover available to try and play around. TPs, or tries to TP into the smoke. Doesn't try to do that, but here Aphrodite, more than aware of it, will try to defuse the spike. But
Is it
I think that
enough?
the job has been done. There's no time. It's just Capricious being very capricious around the plays and doing the job in a kind of funny way. I'm sorry, that was
It's like, I don't mind dying as long as we take the round. That's what's important anyway for the entire team. It seemed like during that take on the B side, it seemed like it was falling apart for NYX, but then you have that space, you have that control on B, you were able to take on the plant, you're already on that post plant, and MLT was just really just trying to wrap around the sides and really repositioning themselves to make that retake happen. But again, for Capricious, it was just a time or a game about time. It was just playing around those post plant situation. Even a TP wouldn't hurt for her, and it was successful.
It was hilarious. That's what it was. Like Capricious, we're used to seeing her before she joined NYX. We were more used to seeing her in that duelist capacity. I think it was on Orangutan, but on the controller role, it seems like she can really let her inner child shine in these kind of plays. But like you mentioned, the point was to buy enough time for the spike to explode, and she does that to perfection. Timeout though, out of MLT, they're going to be doing a little bit of discussion. I think so far they've been even though they've been successful in these early engagements to be able to win out the fights and keep numbers even, I think that they've been struggling when it comes down to the retake kind of setup. So maybe that timeout has helped them figure things out. Illubo also going to be able to invest in that operator for the first time in this game so far. So I think that weapon, if it can cut some kind of havoc through the NYX ranks, it might be what they need, but it's going to be positioned towards the A site while the rest of the squad, they look to push on C itself. It's once again that 4-1 split that we've been seeing so often to come out of this team, and they have so much space up for free.
Especially, there's no one on A. The rotation already coming in from MLT, actually. This is still barely a 4-stack, but it's definitely there. The showstopper out, and that's going to be the first kill. Initial pickoff, definitely there. Envious to get on the trade as well. 4v4 situation. And so far, though, NYX still taking up space here, and they can open up this side for the plant. And now that they know that, The rotations might come in through, and it's already for that operator. The chance to get that initial pickoff was definitely there, but now it's gone.
Such nice positioning out of Heidi. Now crunch onto NBS's position. Kachao to take her out. 2 players left for this MLT squad, and it might just be a better call to save, but they're still trying here. Luna has at least tried 2 kills for herself, but that will be that. Again, Kachao and Heidi, they come out on top, and NYX, they extend their lead to 7 on this particular map pick. Just so much control throughout in their post plan. They're succeeding in finding not just these opening kills, but also so good at map control. Like, look at Heidi's position in that round.
Exactly, map control is definitely the key, especially here on Lotus. And you can definitely see that, especially when teams get stuck, for example, and if it so happens that NYX wasn't able to take on C, they could still have that control on B that Piety gives off for the rest of the team. But nevertheless, so far, all the takes of NYX is working out in their favor. And the operator that they lost here was really a big investment coming in from MLT. Just unfortunately didn't work out in their favor. And just good timings here coming in from NYX so far. Kachao using up the dog as well to clear out any info or any intel coming in from MLT's side. But again, rotations. This might be a fake being sold out, and you can see the hyper rotation as well from MLT to go on C.
It's gonna be a little bit too late though. Still envious towards CT, holding down, maybe watching for a bit of excessive aggression if it does decide to come out. Instead, it's gonna be Dobisky though, taking the charge here, trying to take the fights early on. Her and Piety find 1 kill, but it's gonna be Piety with the trades, 2 for the price of 1. Now only 2 players left for this MLT squad from CT, looking to do as much damage as possible, but NYX, they're just denying them anything at all here. The wraparound comes to fruition, and Piety once again with the 3K to close the round out for NYX. 8-1 right now, and it just seems like they can do no wrong at all throughout this game. That's 8 rounds in a row for them, by the way.
I mean, attackers sided, right, as they would say, but so far, we talked about it a while ago from the previous round that we just watched. And it's just that map control that they do have. Like, despite taking on a site here, even if MLT can answer back, can punch back, they just couldn't expect Piety to come over and get the trade, or rather go around and wrap around on CT. It's just too fast for them to actually react to.
Spike down A.
Fastest, right? That's gonna be a quick attempt on a push to the A side, but for once MLT, they come out on top in engagements, and they have the wisdom to fall back as well now that they have the numbers advantage here. The lurk once again kicks in, but this time around Luna, with the awareness, able to find Piety and take her out of the equation. Now suddenly it's a 2v4 scenario. Only Delbisky and Calm left. They still have some utility to work with. A boombot to maybe find some information, take a little bit more space. Con 1 off the Nightfall as well, so if she can find a kill, this round still might be pretty doable. That said though, MLT, they're playing this so passive here, just trying to work with the advantage that they already have. But a couple of these players, they're still pretty isolated. Aluvu in particular does have some backup coming in now from Luna. You can see them trying to stack up once again together to ensure that they can get those trades. And NYX themselves, they look to go towards B.
Con, they're really just trying to play for the contact here. A double trouble setup for the 2 players. The trade, is it gonna come in? Sampire just holding down this location as well. Reinforcements coming around and wrapping around and helping her out around for MLT's side. And so far, the best round that they've got for this map.
The first buy win as well, but it was a nice bit of initiation coming out of them. I think that so far they've realized that they've just let NYX kind of run away with map control for free. And that early aggression to come out of MLT, it was really well rewarded. Now they have a couple of ults to work with, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to playing for that retake, especially with Samfire having that lockdown. But NYX, it's pretty close to a snowball for them as well. They're one of their own Seekers, one of their own lockdown, and they have the Nightfall ready to go, so it might just be a quick hit on this ace side. Really nice utility there out of the Fade to catch both the players who were getting aggressive once again. This time around though, it's gonna be NYX to win out the confrontation. 3 kills already for them.
That's Piety yet again taking control over B side, and this is leaving Luna again alone on the A side itself. The rotation from K4Dide comes in, but it's already too late to get on any trades at all. A very clean round coming in from NYX. The
Last
thing
round
is
in
here,
the half.
Zach, they do try to make an aggressive approach on A main, but the thing is they have always done it the same way to a point where Capricious can actually already assume where the enemy would be. The flash will settle in, and again, you have that double initiator setup that could clear out any angles that you would like to. And from the round that we saw a while ago, they might have won that round on the aggression and they pulled back. But this time around, when you get that initial pick off or give that initial pick off to NYX's side, it's just difficult for the time being, especially when Piety also secures B.
There.
Yeah, Pity's lurk round after round has been
You
just
should
applying
run.
so much pressure towards this mid area of the map. This time around, Alubu tries to go
Spike down,
aggressive
attack
early on,
respawn.
able to find out the pressure, so that's going to be no more smokes. However, Khan still on the lurk, finds a trade there. Now lockdown invested towards the C side. They're going to be able to take up the space, but there's still a counter available. Never mind, there's not. Samper was taken down, so there's no more lockdown available for the counter. Now it's gonna beat the Nightfall as well, taking a little bit more space invested by this NYX squad. Seekers come out to boot, and they're just hunting down the remainder of MLT, not giving them any space to work with. Heidi already to find an opener on Luna there. 3v4.
That's the bait and switch on its work, using its magic, doing its magic as well. 4v3 situation, and Delvisky already with the ult yet again. And that's gonna be the showstopper, connecting completely. Kaverdite with 13 HP remaining, and Kachao to finish everything basically. 10-2, and a really difficult fight so far for MLT. But can they come back? Let's hear it from our panelists.
I'm back. Is it?
Yes, you are.
Great. 2-10 half. NYX only let MLT get the first pistol and one more. Absolutely in control of the tempo. Piety showing up big as well. Ref, what do we got?
You know, I'm glad that you brought up map control, because I feel like with the double controller comp on the side of MLT, it still kind of feels like they're having a little bit of issues with this comp specifically, because we're not seeing any use of the wall or any of the smokes really to kind of bait out the utility that we have on NYX Kyosei, because all these early fights are just a struggle for MLT. I mean, we have the Trailblazer, we have the two Prowlers plus the Paranoia to just kind of throw a wrench in their plans. And when we do kind of see MLT go against the grain and maybe just go against the playbook when they do try to take that first fight, NYX Kyosei just kind of eats them up. When they do play a little passive too, that's when the utility runs wild, and I feel like they're in a position where, do we save the utility for, again, more aggressive map control or more denying map control, or do we save it for the post plant? And so far, the post plant has been another problem for MLT.
Absolutely. I mean, Taylor said it too. Lotus attacker sided, but not this attacker sided. 2 and 10 is going to be a huge order for MLT to try and bring this one back, but we're going to see.
Well, we're gonna see indeed attacker-sided map, but how far does that buff go when you're down 2-10? It's gonna be imperative for MLT to take this pistol and the anti-eco as well, because I think that after that first and second round that we saw, it's pretty important to mention that you want to take both of those rounds in a row. But, you know, Taylor, what are your thoughts about MLT's hopes in this game?
I would say one step at a time. You know, they really need to win this pistol round. It's a must at this point if they don't want to give away that buffer for the side of NYX. And like you mentioned, if all goes well for the side of MLT, might as well copy NYX, right? Taking on 8 rounds in a row or 6 to more rounds in a row if they can do that. And we've seen them hit their shots. It's just about that execution if they can make it actually work out. This turret is already broken down to B side, quite open for them to take, and you can see that NYX is just holding down the fort here. They want to make a retake play happen. Inside the smoke, that's going to be some players from MLT's side. Piety, they're not going to take control over that because Heaven above, that's going to be Khan securing the 4 kill with the Sheriff as well. Samphire left alone for this post plan, and this is already go for the ace. Go for the ace, get the ace, get the ace, get the ace. No! It's gonna be Samphire taking the kill, but Capricious to finish it off.
Look, I swear, if Con hadn't swapped out her sheriff for the ghost there, she would have gotten the ace. I'm willing to bet for that. But yeah, really nice paranoia and push to come out of Con off the back of it. 4 clean shots to come in. And while the ace itself does not come through, I think NYX have pretty much locked this map in the bag. It's going to take absolute heroics for MLT to try and bring it back here. They didn't get the spike plant down, so they're going to have that little bit of extra money to work with, buying and investing in those specters. And NYX themselves, it's a very interesting buy that we see coming out of them here.
Interesting buy indeed. They do have to do and make this happen though, because there's no other choice. But this initial pickoff from Piety is already huge for NYX's side. They do get the heal from Kachao as well. So everything is well. All is good, as the Killjoy would say. Delbisky, on the other hand, secures the kill onto Luna. It's now a 3v5.
They were not expecting Delbisky to be waiting right outside the door there like something out of a horror movie, but like you mentioned, 2 players now out of the equation for MLT. And remember, this is a round that they have invested in. They put in whatever money they had, so they're looking at a possible eco on top of a match point if they do lose this, and it seems like NYX, they can do no wrong here. The players try to work together, push in here, but still, the 2 players stack is just too much for them to deal with. Just Samfire now in a 1v5, finds the first, might be able to do a little bit of damage here. She hits her shots correctly, gets the second as well, and pushes on forward, but Kachao with the movement stays alive and takes her down. Match point on NYX on map 4, NYX on map number 1 here, and remember, this is MLT's pick. It's not NYX's pick, it's MLT's pick.
Yeah, they do want that redemption match, but it seemed like for the break time that MLT, or rather NYX, had, it seemed like they just polished more when it comes to Lotus here against MLT. A little bit cold, especially from the start until here. Actually, in the end, they were just able to pick up the first pistol that we had from this game. And other than that, it's just difficult for them to react with how fast the aggression is. And you can definitely see that NYX is very comfortable in pushing out these players from MLT's side as well.
I think that NYX, like you mentioned, they're really good at figuring out which fights they want to take, especially depending on the weaponry they have. Like some rounds, you can see that if they have only sheriffs, they just hold these off angles. If they have like the full rifling, they like to go as a team to find those early picks. So I think that NYX's coordination has just been so much cleaner on this map compared to what MLT has been doing, and it's very surprising, like we talked about, that this was the map that MLT chose mainly because of the fact that NYX has that 100% win rate, and they seem like they want to keep it up so far. Final round coming in, really nice flash into the smoke here, but it's not going to really catch out these players. The Sheriff, though, it's not going to do much, and MLT finally, they find opening picks to take the side and get that spike down.
Timing's just perfect, especially when it comes to those flashes that Kachao was able to throw out. A 5v3 situation, like you said, Zach. A post-plant situation that MLT desperately needs to hold on to. Delbisky, she still has that Spectre. Can still be deadly. A lot of utils still in play here for the side of NYX for the retake. Eluwu just pre-firing the A-main control here if ever they actually manage to pull off a kill, but so far that shot will definitely hurt. The facials to actually finish off some players as well. A 3v2, make it now a 2v1, and it's already over. This post-plant situation goes in favor of MLT, but a lot of damage done to the players as well.
It was a bit of an awkward buy for them in the first place, so the fact that they're able to walk away with 2 of these rifles is not entirely horrible, but like you mentioned, their economy not in the greatest spot. Finally going to be able to scrape together another buy off the back of that win, but that was NYX's bonus round, so while they did invest, I think, 1 rifle into it, they're still going to have more than enough to put together an almost full buy. Only Kachao really playing with that bulldog here. No ultimates available for either side, I think, for this particular round, but my eyes are on the Odin because we know how nasty this can be. While Ascent is that Odin favorite map, I think this one has a couple of wall-bangable spots as well, so
Lotus is made of paper, Zach. Lotus is made of paper, as we say, but Eluwu with a double kill, maybe even a triple. That's gonna be the kills coming in from Eluwu's side, opening up the side, but they can they go against this Odin? They do quite well as well. Now Eluwu, she's already telling her teammates, give me days, give me days, give me days, give me days.
seen that many aces today, but
No.
not again. No, Luna, why? Just give it to her, man. She deserves it.
They do need this round though, so they really want to make sure that every kill counts. And a really exceptional entry here, or aggression from Eluwu's side. The help of the teammates was definitely there, the flashes settling in, etc. But at the end of the day, if Eluwu can't hit those shots, then nothing's gonna happen, right?
For sure, that's a crucial round because not only does it keep MLT in this, it also breaks the economy for NYX Kyosei. They do have the Nightfall available, but we're probably not going to be seeing that used right now. It's just going to be them with a little bit more of a passive hold in comparison towards the ENC side into how far back they're playing. They go for the peak, however, once again, Luna and Eluwu just decimating the opposition here. Only Khan left on site now, all alone here. Sheriff in hand, Paranoia gonna impact her, and now she's just gonna be surrounded on all sides, looking for at least a little bit of damage, but the Molly Eluwu combo is just too much. 3 kills once again for MLT side, and while they've started late, it seems like they finally woken up.
They've been doing this since a while ago as well, even on the defense. And so far for the attack side, it's been working out greatly for them. That's a double kill that they're looking for to finish off the round, a flawless even. So really for MLT side, if this just goes on, snowballs on the next following rounds as well, this can actually still be a comeback, even or despite not having that buffer no more since it's a match point. But you can definitely see the boost of confidence that it also gives the teammates here of Eluwu. And so far, it's just been working out greatly for them. When it comes to utilities, Zach, Con has that Nightfall ready up. And so far, this just goes to show what the resiliency can actually give you.
Yeah, MLT definitely showing off here as to how strong they can be when their gears actually get into go mode. That said though, it's going to take 7 more rounds in a row that MLT have to put together to push this to overtime and have a shot at stealing this map away. A barrage of utility now coming in out of the NYX squad. They take up so much space, but again, it's going to be the lurk from Vera Ferrari to take out Khan. A second kill from Eluwu as well, and once again, it's huge openers across the board for the MLT squad. Once again, in a 5v2 scenario within the first 30 seconds of the round, and they have the A site.
It's like watching NYX on attack yet again. It's very similar playstyles that we are looking at, and aggression towards A.
Spike planted.
MLT secures the kills basically that they need to just open up the site. Now with a post plant, it's up to the 2 remaining players of NYX, Piety and Capricious. They need to find the pickoff, but it seems like they're already planning to make a save happen here, Zach.
I mean, it's a good call. Their economy, it's in a bit of a rough spot, and they're once again caught in that vicious cycle of save, buy, lose, save, buy, lose. So maybe having these fewer rifles in the next round might be the difference maker. But back to the way MLT is playing, right? We talked about it before. Finally woken up here. They're very careful about their attack, and they're also taking a lot of these double peaks when it comes down to the fight. So definitely being able to find those openers across the board and also keep the numbers in their favor has been incredible for them. They really have a huge economic buffer right now, and off the back of that, they're looking to do a bit of damage here, possibly. Not gonna find anything though, and suddenly the gap looks a little bit narrower. It was 2-12, and now it's 6-12, so only 6 more rounds.
6 rounds away for making that tie happen, and we might see an overtime. You just never know. This momentum shift towards the side of MLT is quite huge as well. And as we can look, or as we can see on your screens, we are looking at the Seekers being popped soon. If they get an orb here or a kill for Luna's side, would help them a lot. Aggression from NYX's is definitely there. Dilbisky throws in the Roomba. They know there's going to be someone on A lobby, but it's just a waiting game for MLT. They're going to wait out on this push. They take on a little bit of info, and this is already a hard rotate towards C. Eluwu yet again leading the charge for the time being.
Just Eluwu once again to try and find those openers. Now crunching onto the side here. Capricious though takes her down. Finally, NYX, they're able to hold strong and keep up the numbers, even though MLT, they're able to bounce back and find a little bit of value of their own. 2v3 situation now.
Last
Economy
player
still
standing.
in favor, but the flame comes in and Kachao with the shirt. If she puts them down, she's gonna find both of the headshots, and that will be finally the victory coming in for NYX Kyosei. It got a little bit dicey in the middle. MLT, they put up a bit of a fight, but in the end, it is gonna be a 13-6 off the back of a 30 for NYX to steal away their opponent's map pick. Incredible play coming out of both of the teams, but I think that attacking half that we saw from NYX's side, it was just, as we like to say it, a masterclass.
Well, Kachao just living up to her name, just with the quick or speedy recovery here for the side of NYX. And so far, I hope you're liking my Raph cosplay.
10 out of 10. I gotta
10 out of
rate it.
10. My Raph cosplay is definitely there. But this first game that we were looking at, they were looking for that redemption match coming in from MLT. Momentum shifted, but nonetheless, the buffer yet again was definitely not there for the side of MLT. But, ladies and gents, I think the panelist also has something to say. So I'll pass it on to my twin and Ray Rachu to cover on what happened with this map.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm here with your twin on my right, Kachao, with the old Kaching, much better half from MLT after that switch, but just not enough, just kind of too little too late. What do we make of that? I think, we're seeing a lot of good things that they could bring into map number 2.
That's true. And, I really appreciate the patience of MLT, especially on that second half. I think that's when they really start to come alive, and we saw the mastery of the comp to kind of make NYX Kyosei impatient. I feel like that's also something that NYX have to pay attention to when we go into Breeze, because MLT was very comfortable sitting in their safe side of the map, letting NYX throw all their utility before any fight could happen. But as Taylor and Zach said, there just wasn't enough of a buffer for MLT to really get their gears going despite an impressive streak. NYX, I feel like, just has been on a tear in terms of mechanics. Strategically, there were a few lapses here and there, but a lot of superstar play already on the first map of the series.
Absolutely. Talking about superstar play, we're saying, Piety absolutely had to show up today in the series, and show up she did. 21-9 on that Killjoy, just start to finish. And some rounds it just looked as if MLT were like, okay, we've taken down Piety, and then they have a chance later on in the round. But pretty much, Piety survived to the end. It was not the best look for MLT, especially in the first half. And taking a look at some of the stats, a 10 out of 10 post plan for NYX Kyosei, just bonkers right there. 4 out of 5 post plans for MLT is a very respectable also, and 11 for skills actually going the way of MLT, just kind of showing that, as Black and Blue talked about previously also, that, a lot of the times some teams, they get that initial advantage, but then they can't convert that into something more in the round.
Is that foreshadowing, because it was MLT to take the first round of this of this map actually, and then the snowball kind of happened, and it was in a huge part to Piety, who was insane on the lurks. And once again, that attacking side on the side of NYX Kyosei to just kind of bulldoze their way when they wanted to hold that W key was very, very impressive. But at the same time, I feel like MLT, they've found a behavior pattern for NYX Kyosei as a whole. They really don't want to guess as a team. That's why they throw a lot of their utility early on in that second half. But once again, maybe that's also the confidence in their ability to take fights and to take all these aim duels and come out on top. But maybe I'm just getting too excited, you know what I mean?
I mean, this is the point in time where we get excited, right? It's elimination, it's tournament life on the line. I also want to go back really quick to one of the points you made earlier on. I think it was halftime or before map 1, also about how you were saying that, MLT with that double controller just seem to not be able to fully play out their composition that well. When we looked at the post plan, are you making fun of me, Raph? Just look here. Anyway, the 10 out of 10 post plan statistic just shows that, I feel like with a double controller composition, you shouldn't be losing the post plans to 10 out of 10. So hopefully, we see a little bit of a switch up. Hopefully in the couple of minutes that they got before that map number 2, they can try to switch things up, guys. We've got at least one more map before either of these teams goes home. We're gonna find out if MLT can mount a convincing comeback right after this break.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
Got the money in the bank.
Spike. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank.
Hi guys, and welcome back to map number 2 in our first best of 3 series of the day of day 4 here at Game Changers APAC Elite. It's gonna be Breeze, and this one is just such an interesting one for us. I think, it's NYX's map pick. However, neither of these teams have stats really on Breeze. There's pretty much at least 4-5 other maps that both of these teams would rather play than Breeze. So the fact that NYX Kyosei is like whipping this one out during Elite is just so exciting to us.
That's so true. And like, I kind of wish we still had Pearl and Fracture in the pool. Maybe get a
That's
set
one
out
of
the way.
us.
What? But anyway, anywho, you are correct. Breeze is a bit of a mystery for everybody, so it's a true toss-up of a map. But just kind of, referencing the results from the last map and how the teams have been playing, it does seem like NYX Kyosei is a little more inclined to taking those fights, whereas MLT likes to play that much more as a group. I think Zach had a great point when we were talking during the break that this might be a little more competitive because Aluo is finally online, as we saw her just kind of tear it up in those last few rounds of the previous map. But Breeze, I feel like Breeze has been, I don't know how to say it. I think I don't like the map now. I think it was fine the way it was, but open up bridge, guys. We need more ways to attack A, not just one way. We need at least 2.
Yeah, I get where they were going with that, but the fact that they changed both like shop over at A, and then they also changed the mid part and bridge. I'm not sure if maybe they could have just opted to change just one, but I think that absolutely, even with the changes to New Breeze, I feel like map number 2 might just come down to who on either of these teams is feeling themselves more and who's going to be winning those aim duels. And I think that, after that map number 1, I'm not sure if MLT have enough gas left in the tank to be able to make that happen.
Oh man, I feel like that could potentially be true as well. Again, especially with the emphasis of how aim heavy taking mid can be for Breeze, and how I guess just relatively speaking, there's just been more fragging on the side of NYX Kyosei in comparison to MLT. But if the rest of the team can step it up or find a way to get around that problem of just trying to strong arm mid away from NYX Kyosei, then maybe MLT has a big chance here. But that is a very interesting set of agents. We have Reina on one side and Yoru on the other.
Yeah, and the Neon as well. So Neon, I think NYX Kyosei, they're going all in on the W gaming for this map number 2. I think they sense that, map 1, they had a great thing going, and they're going to try to keep up that momentum, try to keep up that energy, starting off on the attacking side on Breeze, whereas MLT, again, they're running the double duelist with the Reina as well as the Jet. They are starting on the defense though, so maybe a bit iffier for them for the first half, but I like what they're doing. We're saying map 1, they didn't look too hot, they didn't look all that confident, but I don't know what they did in the break, but they're coming back and they're like, no, we're still gonna go with this, we're gonna pick the double duelist, and we're not giving up. I love this.
That's true. And I actually don't mind the Yoru pick so much, especially there's still a lot of open space and a lot of angles that might go unchecked for the potential teleport play. But again, we'll just have to see, as our map is going to be going in a short moment, I think.
Yep, we will have to see, and there's no better duo to bring us the action than once again Tabor and Zach. Zachar, bring us back in.
For bringing you the action once again on map number 2 of the day. And honestly, looking at these Asian comps, Terrar, I gotta say, it takes me back all the way last year to Copenhagen when we saw Paper Rex bring out the Yoru on this very map. So back to our roots here. NYX, they're already one map ahead. This is their map pick, and they have certainly been cooking looking at this Asian comp.
Man, sorry, I just have to always see Fifi here, and I'm just excited as we are looking into Agent Comp as well for the side of NYX Kyosei. Like the panel also said, this might work out greatly if ever, especially if ever, MLT doesn't have that good reads when it comes to those Yoru TPs. But if ever they do have good reads, it might be an immediate shutdown. You just never know. But let's see if they can take that momentum they got from that second half for MLT side, or NYX would just bamboozle the site all throughout the entirety of this map.
Yeah, I think the Fifi buff, as we like to call it here, has been great for them on that map number 1. But on map number 2, it's still a question of whether it will be continuing. Now, once again, NYX, they are going to be starting off on the attacking side. However, when it comes to space creation, they don't have the jet or sometimes the raise that you see to Satchelin. So a lot of that pressure, it's going to fall onto Capricious and Delbisky's shoulders. But that said, I think that they can definitely use the Uru a little bit more as that initiator tool as they look to contest into this A site early on. The Cypher utility being broken thanks to the drone, but still, Aphrodite and Envious on side playing spoiled sport here, taking down both of those duelists, and it's just the crossfires that are immaculate so far. Only 2 players left. Finally, NYX finding
enemy
some
remaining.
kind of kill, some kind of damage, but it's just them surrounded on all sides, and Envious to start things off with the 4K in the pistol.
She's awake. I think that first game that they had, it was just more of having to get back to the game and really having that fire back or a spark towards those controls. And I think that confidence is definitely using here on this second map that we were looking at. They were expecting those Yoru TPs, and I was already expecting that, obviously, with the fake out of Capricious, they can definitely destroy the traps that has been set by MLT, but it seems like they're more than prepared to take on the action here and not really what do we call this, not really surprised with the picks that they have right now. But let's see on the second round as they have the Spectres in play in action
down,
as well.
B.
That's an immediate triple shutdown for the side of MLT.
One enemy
They're
remaining.
really doing its damage here. On the opposite side, Piety trying to find something on the lurk, does find another kill. Con at least will deny the flawless, but it will only be 1 kill for the next side. As MLT, they extend their lead in this anti-eco. Bit of a change of things from last time around. I think on Lotus, they also the round that they lost horrifyingly. This time they've learned their lesson, safety in numbers, and they pushed their advantage overwhelmingly. So almost a flawless, only 1 kill to come through here for Con, and nothing much more that she could really do. That said though, NYX, they're finally going to be having their full buy kicking in here. Rifles across the board. And I'm interested to see how they're going to be playing it out, because so far they've been going for these kind of 5-person plays or 4-person pushes, and they haven't been taking too much control across the map like we saw them do on Lotus.
Like you said, strength in numbers, and I think that's what they're playing around with. That's a quick fadeaway coming in from Elu after that initial pickoff. That's Piety already shut down. It's still a 5v4. And you see the change of pacing from when we saw them on defense in Lotus a while ago. It seems like they're more aggressive when it comes to taking on those initial pickoffs, but this time successfully. So that's a very different change from when we saw them a while ago. Capricious already detected here. They know there's going to be mid control happening for the side of NYX Kyosei, but can they stop it? That's going to be the question. Samphire detected by the drone. They know there's a TP on the back ends of the side. They're really careful here in making sure that there's not going to be any pick off that NYX can give off. That's the initial kill from Eluwu. That's a shutdown again. And this is a buy round for NYX.
A buy round that found absolutely nothing there, as an overwhelming combination of Eluvu and the utility just take them down. That was such a nice snake fight as they looked to cross into that B site, but more than that, I think that positioning wise, MLT, they just look so much more confident in this particular round. That's a flawless bonus that they converted, so upgrades across the board here for the MLT players, and suddenly NYX, once again, they're on the back foot economically. I think, like you mentioned there, that was a great point that you talked about for aggression being made by MLT, and you saw a couple of plays like that to try to come out on Lotus on that A side as well, but the Fade kind of denied any kind of value for the MLT roster. Now though, with the Reyna, they just look so much more confident to be able to take these duels and come out and keep their numbers alive. And now, once again, that change of pace, they know that the economy for NYX is broken, so they're just playing passive here, trying to hold down these off angles.
It's definitely a big difference, especially having Arena here, because we saw them a while ago get those pick off first, but then again, they try to push in for more info, for more space, and that's when NYX actually catches them off guard. But this time, you get a kill and you just mamba out basically, and that's what Elu is doing right now. She gets another kill onto Piety and moves away, reposition themselves into making sure that they truly have that control on the side. Aphrodite just setting up B here, and she already knows that it might be a B hit for the side of NYX Kyosei.
Has the utility to work with to boot. So once again, the snake bite gonna cut off this choke point early on here. 40 seconds left. It seems like NYX, they still want to commit towards the side, but the crossfire this time, Envious and Kara Ferrari, they're just shredding these players apart.
30 seconds
On now in 1v5, has a muscle in hand, tagged up insanely low, and Samfire will finish the job here. 4-0 for MLT, and as much of a strong start as we saw out of NYX on Lotus, these guys, they look just as convincing on this particular map. We're gonna be seeing another buy versus buy round though, and hopefully with the help of some ultimates, NYX, they can kind of reconsider here, because MLT, they just have so much momentum.
It's surprising that obviously we are looking at the map pick from the first game from the side of MLT, and then you have Breeze, which is a map pick by NYX as well. So it's interesting that they're having that swap of momentum. And for this time around, it's going to be a timeout, a much needed timeout, I would say, for NYX Kyosei, since this is going to be a buy round yet again for them. At least make a little bit of a plan ahead, especially that they're having more of a read on how MLT plays as well. And the pickoffs here from Eluwu, just phenomenal so far. They don't overextend, they don't overheat anymore. And securing those initial pickoffs is really huge. You remove the traps that being set up by Piety here. You open up the site, or you open up the entire map for flanks, and they're making use of that.
I think they're also just really aware, like you mentioned, map control, of course, playing a huge role in the fight between these two teams. And MLT, so far at least, they look way more convincing on the kind of lanes that they're pushing. I think one thing that we haven't seen come out of both of these teams so far as much has been that mid control play. And it seems like NYX are now going to be pushing the issue this time around, going for a relatively straightforward attempt at this B site. I think this combination of duelists, the Yoru as well as the Neon, it's been something that they've been struggling with a little bit. Talking about struggles though, that's Kira Ferretti finding a kill through the smoke, just a headshot to take down Delvisky off the bat like that. Again though, the awareness out of this MLT side, they still know that mid is open, and Pity's lurk, it's been expected. You can see Envy is just watching for it and gets the kill to boot. 2 kills already for MLT.
It's gonna be Bitey shut down yet again, and we can definitely see for all the rounds that we were looking at, seemed like the Bisky is still having a rough time, a rough patch here, and trying to take up space. We see all those TPs being set up, yeah, but then again, a little bit of a mishap there for the side of Eluwu, looking at the TPs as well. It's a fake. They know that 3v3 situation, and NYX finally opens a site to make a plant happen, and a post plant even.
Like you mentioned, they're just playing on site here, trying to maintain whatever control they have, and no flanks really incoming for this MLT roster. They're all gonna have to manually clear out on site here, trying to take these fights up close again through the smoke. Sapphire this time to find a kill. Luna for the second, and Kira Ferrari will take down that final player. For a second, it seemed like NYX, they could have made that round work with Kachao's 2K, but their post plan just was so disjointed there that MLT, they once again just sweep through them to get their lead 5-0 now.
You can also definitely see that MLT is really having a good read here for the side of NYX Kyosei. They were able to read up the lurks coming in from Piety. Not only that, those two pre-fires through the smoke just managed to pick off two players, very important players as well for NYX's side. That post-plant scenario, Delbisky not even being able to pass through the smoke to make an entry happen. You lose those control, you lose those kind of setups. It just makes it more difficult for the rest of the team. But I see a change of pace here. They seem to be holding on to mid, not only that, but able to try and lurk around B side as well and make a play happen. But you can definitely see MLT is waiting and expecting for this to happen as well.
They have the information. I think that Luna did spot out at least one player towards this B main area. You can also see that there's still Cypher utility on the side, which is going to make it much more difficult to push in. I think that the gate crash of the Yoru was broken as well, so there's no real easy way for Capricious to teleport onto site there. Now, again, just such slow plays to come out of NYX. They still have a buy. They have but for MLT's side, they have the operator online for Luva, and she's holding such an aggressive position towards this A main side. So it's gonna have to be NYX to find some other lane to take. It looks to go towards mid instead, but Sapphire still finds out the kill. Huge opener there. Trade finally coming through from Khan with the Hunter's Fury. He gets a second tag as well.
Okay, provided goes for the spray, but wasn't able to get on the double kill. Instead, catches one 2v1 situation. It's still in play. Con, she needs to pick up the spike as well. An operator setup, even a drone being set up here to take on info. It's a patience game, 12 seconds remaining.
10 seconds
and
left.
being tagged up by a drone isn't helpful at all. She has to fight this. A double kill maybe. It's not gonna happen. It's already set up for MLT to win.
The nice thing I can say for NYX is that these rounds are getting closer and closer. I think that this time around there were only 2 players left alive, and if they had possibly tried to commit towards this B instead, they might have had a little bit more success instead of that operator that was still online on A for NBS. But now with the timeout from MLT, maybe they want to be sure that they don't really lose any more rounds going forward. It is 6-0 in their favor so far, and looking at the ultimates here, they certainly have a lot to work with, both the Neural Theft as well as the Viper Spin available for them. That said though, NYX, despite this being an eco, they have the overdrive, and we've seen the kind of damage that a Neon can do with that particular ult.
You could also see how MLT sets up a site here. You see a double tripwire being placed. They know that a fake out, for example, can destroy the first initial tripwire that has been set. But then again, you have that double tripwires that could catch s- uh, the next possible teammate here for NYX's side. Whoever wants to entry, might be Delbisky, might be Capricious. And for the time being, obviously, you don't see any skies here. There's no other agents that could destroy that tripwire other than that fake out as well. So this is what MLT is just trying to do. They're just taking it a step at a time. They're making sure the traps has been set. They have invested in the operator. Really huge pickup here, especially on a map like Breeze, where you have that long angles that you have to take on. And obviously, if you get that initial pickoff, and again, how MLT plays here now in this map, Zach, they try to make a pickoff happen. They don't overheat no more.
They've been really good at that push and pull that you see from a team on defense here, being proactive enough to find that crucial information, maybe get that early pick. I think both, as well as Envious in that last round, have been doing a really good job of that. But Ilubu in particular, she's just using the arena to full potential, especially like we saw in those first 3 rounds. Been a little bit of a slowdown from her. It's less of Ilubu slowing down and more of the team doing their job. I think that for NYX, they've been really struggling in regard to finding those crucial entries, because like we talked about, the Neon and the Yoru, while they're great, they tend to fit more into that duelist initiator kind of mixed agent than as a pure duelist, because they don't really have the tools with which to create space effectively. So I think they also have a lot of difficulty when it comes down to spacing. I think that NYX, they've looked a bit lackluster when beating each other out, or just, being able to win out their 1v1s. They're going to have to kind of take this pause. I know it's technical pause, but they can also use it to regroup a little bit. And hopefully, if they can come back to the same kind of coordination that we saw out of them on Lotus, it might be what they need to make a comeback on this map. Because so far, MLT, they have been making very few mistakes and a lot of excellent plays.
Very few mistakes indeed. Maybe none at all so far. It's a clean 6-0 that we're looking at. And I don't think we've ever come to a point into a 1v1 situation as well. And you saw how MLT basically disintegrated that post plant scenario coming in from NYX from a while ago. That
Yeah.
first plant, the only plant that they were able to do so far. in the 6 rounds that we were looking at. But anyway, while we are on a technical pause podcast, I want to know,
Yo.
chat, who are we gunning for here? For the people who are watching right now, are you a supporter of MLT or Fifi, which is NYX Kyosei, by the way? Who are you supporting? Who are you gunning for this matchup that we have here? Very essential matchup indeed, because it's basically elimination at this point. Whoever loses this series will already say goodbye this time around for the last event of Asia Pacific.
Yeah, a lot on the line here. Like you mentioned, it's elimination, so it's go big or go home for both of these teams. But also, just a reminder as to what exactly awaits the winner. It's not just the prize money, which is very nice, I must admit. There's also
There's
the
prize
possibility.
money?
Of course. Yeah, we need to like make a caster game changer squad and run it clean the next time
I
around.
know,
I feel
right?
like I call dibs on Victoria. Like I'm just saying that right now.
I guess I'll
if-
take Dash. She's watching right now. I think she does watch parties as well. I take Dash.
Shout out.
Unfortunately, Raf couldn't join, but he could also pass as me, maybe. I'm not sure.
You guys can swap out for each other.
Yeah, we can swap out for each other, Sobin. And then who else can we take? Mika Fabs. I'll take dibs on Mika Fabs on my team.
Ah, damn it! I gotta go. I gotta host. You gotta host. Okay. I pick. Actually, don't know. I pick Ray Richu. She's right
Okay.
here.
So we're now a 3-man squad. Who else?
Yeah.
Who else do we have on the talent
We have so
lineup?
many. We have so many. Okay. I want to. I call B&B.
You go B&B? Can he
Yeah.
even join? I don't think he can join Game Changers.
Okay. Never mind. You're right. I thought we were
hello,
going
guys.
for just like a talent pool, but
Welcome
never
to
mind.
our podcast here. And of course, so far, it's a 6-0. You definitely saw it on your screens as well. But I think right now, while we're waiting for that pause to happen, we're just going to go in a very short break. And of course, we're still going to be here to watch the matches, cast it for you as well, to every viewer that we have. I know that you guys are typing who you want to win, but let's see later on. Right now, we're just going to go in a very short break. Don't go away because Valorant Game Changers APAC Elite will be right back.
guys, you thought it was actually
It's a
going to
prank.
be 10 minutes fully, but it is just 4 minutes that I think we were waiting, and we're back in game.
It's definitely a prank for the viewers, but at least it's in a good way, right? In a good way, because we're
Yeah.
finally back here on the match. But here we go. For everyone who just tuned in, this is already the second game of this best of 3 series. MLT against NYX Kyosei, and so far NYX Kyosei already got one map away here. They're only one map away from actually winning this series, but look at MLT, a 6-0 so far, Zach.
Yeah, it's been pretty dominant coming out of them on Breeze. They came out strong right out of the gate here to be able to pick up that bonus, with Aluwu finding a lot of crucial kills. And now that they have the operator online for NBS, they've been even more excellent in just being proactive on that ace side. They get so much information for free with her pushing out, and that kind of frees up the rest of the team to push out on these other lanes. I think that for NYX's side, it's been a little bit hit or miss when it comes down to the duels they're taking. Their duelists have just not been able to find that crucial space that they really need on site, and they always seem to end up in a numerical disadvantage after the first 30 seconds. So hopefully that break will see them kind of adjust a little bit and fix a lot of those mistakes. But at least for now, MLT, they have a possibility to extend their lead even further to 7, because NYX, they're going to be on an eco round here.
It is gonna be indeed an eco round, but we are also looking at an overdrive available here in the hands of Delbisky. So let's see what that can do. It can open up. We're still yet to see how Delbisky can entry a site here. So far, MLT has been unstoppable when it comes to really getting into positions here on the defense itself. But with certain adjustments so far, Zach, when it comes to, we already saw how MLT basically put up the traps, set up the traps, and how they take control over NYX. What can NYX actually do?
I think that so far NYX, they've, like we talked about, really been struggling when it comes to finding those opening picks. Now they look to go directly for this B site execute here. Early on, it's going to be the TP from Capricious. Again, though, MLT, they hold strong. Just a predictive plays too much for the squad to deal with. Finally, Con able to at least find one kill with the Sheriff, but that's going to be that. Again, it's just a crunch. The net closing around the NYX squad as MLT, they do their best to choke life out of them. Just an almost flawless once again. Samfar's positioning as well as Luna's utility throughout that round was just gorgeous work.
That was a very well executed round yet again from MLT. You can definitely see they really have 100% a read on Capricious here. And I fairly think that if you're playing against a Yoru, this is the usual positioning anyway for those TPs. So when it comes to them, you see the flash settled in. It was a flash coming in from Capricious, if I'm not mistaken. Now making it faster this time around, they do have that ult from the Yoru. They're telling them exactly where the rest of the team of MLT is going to be. The flash settling in. It doesn't help out, but Con was able to finally secure that first pickoff. But Luna on the side itself was able to pick up on 3v1 situation now. It's all up to Piety. Spike has been dropped right in front of MLT's faces.
Yeah, that was such a nice play to come out of Samfire there to find those 2 kills despite the distraction of the Yoru ult. Now just all in Paide's hands, no control of Spike, no real information as to where exactly these players on MLT are playing. However, Lubu gives away a freebie here and Paide quick to capitalize. Now a 1v2 opts to go in for the reposition, a re-aggression from main instead. Also will be able to clear out this area of the map and might be able to smoke out the position of the remaining players. Poison Orb though, it's going to come through to make this battle look even more tough with that snake bite coming in. 30 seconds left. Paide has to be able to break this crossfire somehow. 1v2 gets the first, and now it's just a 1v1, but Kira Freddy ready for the trade will bring MLT to 8.
Successful on isolating the fights here. Nonetheless though, think about it, the Viper Orb has been set off already as well. So it was very difficult position. It was already across, like you said, Zach, and a clean round yet again from MLT's side. They do really have good reads though, you have to say that. And when it comes to setting up the traps from the Cypher, not only that, but also the Viper Orb, it's all there. It's like B is not punishable for the time being right now.
Yeah, I think the Cypher Sova combination or the Cypher Viper, as we're seeing this round, is just so much utility that's available for MLT to really push forward. Now we're seeing a little bit of a split play coming in. Overdrive right off the bat to find an opener onto Kira Aphrodite. Now just Sapphire alone on side, trying to play around the positions. It's only going to be able to find one kill this time though, and finally NYX, they have the numbers advantage. Hunter's Fury to come out early on, but Elubu and Envious towards mid, they just clear it out. 2v3 situation. Spike still hasn't gone down here. NYX trying to smoke out, maybe find another kill before it really happens, and it's gonna be Luna trying to just buy time for the rotation to come in. The flake is here. The timing also there for Luna, and now it's just a 1v3. Envious takes her down, and another round for MLT, 9-0.
The lurk from the double duelist that MLT has from A side. They do take mid control for NYX. Yes, but only for a few moments here. Heidi, she was just waiting patiently for the next players to come in. But other than that, you could already see that Envious was able to wrap around on the location of the enemies as well. MLT so far so good, 9-0. And it feels like a deja vu from what we were seeing from game number 1, but a different team, right?
Yeah, it's just, what was it, 10-2 half in the first one, now 9-0 for MLT, who have bounced back on their opponent's map pick here. Attempt at a TP comes in, this time it's a fake, but still the trades, they go in favor of MLT. However, NYX able to find some damage of their own, and they still want to try and make this round work out. Viper's Pit invested now by the side of NYX to try and get that plan down. Con looking to smoke out the positions here, finds the first 2v2 situation now. Hunter's Fury still on the table here, but hasn't really been used by Con. They're just trying to play it out in this Viper's Pit.
One
And
enemy
Sapphire
remaining.
in the corner might be able to do something. Kira ready to find a kill, and still Chow
enemy
looking for
remaining.
the time and the space, brings it down to a 1v1. Doesn't know the position of Sapphire though, who's already just lurking around in that Viper's Pit, has made the wrap around here, and this might be it. All it comes down to Kachao. She's gonna have to go huge in the 1v1. It's just a game of cat and mouse. Whoever sees the other, it's gonna come down to that. Sapphire with the angle, has to look at the right place at the right time, and does flick in time. Another round for MLT, 10-0. They look unstoppable.
Even a little nod of confirmation there at the end as well. I do think that this Viper's Pit was already set up for them, and Kachao trying to plant the spike. I know they are going or trying out to fake players from MLT side to try and push in this Viper's Pit, but actually they already have control and they could have planted a spike there, but nonetheless they were the one who were playing anyway, and at that point they just needed to find that pick off, but instead it's them who got picked off. Anyway, a brand new round here for NYX. Little bit of a mishap there, but it's still doable. We saw 10-2 make it to a 12-6, 12-7 a while ago, and maybe they can make it happen again if they have good reads. Con was able to secure that first initial pick-off towards Envious. Kachao as well onto Aphrodite, removing that orb, or removing the smokes here coming in from the Viper. The TP from Capricious, it seems like she just couldn't take any
One enemy
space.
remaining.
Bit of a weird TP here, but overall NYX, they look much more successful in this round here to be able to find that opening pick, break
Last
apart the
round
Viper's
before
Pit, and
the
finally
switch.
this lurk from Heidi to be able to take out Sapphire will finally put an end to SMG's, for a second it seemed like SMG because they're the only other team I know who has not made a 10-0 this year so far, but yeah, a little bit of a more dominant showing coming out of NYX there against MLT. That said, though, MLT, they still have so many ults here. The Neural Theft to Blade Storm. Also, Elubu still with the possession of that Empress. It's going to still make it a little bit challenging here for NYX.
Con really stepping up to the table here, really pressing on the gas pedal as well. And so far, she's been getting all those frags in for the rest of the team. And we all know how difficult it is also for Capricious to take on kills here, especially when you TP and don't have any intel where the enemy might be. Good trade-off. That's going to be the first kill
Spike
for
down, mid.
Capricious this time around. 4v3 situation. And actually, NYX here getting back on the groove as well.
Give me those back.
Oh, but Envy is still with the Blade Storm, looking to play Spoil Sport here. Takes out Kachao, and that's going to be no more smokes for the duration of the round here. 3v2 situation, just Piety and Capricious left right now, trying to isolate the fights. It's still
One
going to
enemy
be Envious
remaining.
on site. A clean headshot, the third kill for her on this round, and suddenly things once again looking very dire here for the NYX squad. All just Piety left right now, does have the Neural Theft to work with, finds the first kill. 75 HP, looking for a little bit more, but Alubu denies it. 11 to 1 half for MLT, and they looked so
Switching sides.
strong. But before we switch sides and actually see how NYX is going to be doing on their own defense, I think that our panel has something to say.
Thanks, Zachver. MLT came roaring out of the gates. Envious is her getting the 4K on the pistol, the round number 1, just absolutely pedal to the metal. I think MLT outpacing and outreading NYX in that first half.
That's definitely true. I mean, especially pacing issues. I feel like in terms of composition, while they can burst with, you know, the flashes with Yoru plus Neon, the whole comp strength is built on careful information gathering and also denying. You know, when you have the Viper and when you have the Cypher, you can both lurk and anti-lurk really, really well. But it just seems like there were so many moments where NYX kept taking these raw duels that couldn't maximize the kit. And again, it just seemed suboptimal. Again, it's really not to knock on the Yoru pick. I feel like they had an idea going on here, but MLT was really onto something, getting that jet pick on the board. You know, I feel like they're doing the same thing. They're still being as careful with information as possible. But when they do need to burst, the dash is that much more reliable, at least in terms of this application. Either way, MLT is doing such a great job of denying any pivot point whatsoever for NYX. Like, NYX just cannot get a conditioning game onto MLT, and MLT's just been online, you know. The scoreboard's really been telling 11-1.
With these compositions from both these squads, how do we think it's going to be after the switch, though?
Oh man, I would love to see NYX to fight back and get their gears going, but maybe it's the same issue from the last map. There's just not enough allowance, not enough of a buffer for them to mount something.
Absolutely. Well, 11 to 1 would be a miracle if NYX are able to come back, but we will see if this is going to go to map 3 or not. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ray Rafchu, for that analysis as well. See, I can also do it.
I like that.
We are on to 11-1. They were talking about a buffer, Zach here, and so far it's like we said a while ago, it's a deja vu from map number 1, and this is probably the most important pistol round for NYX so far right now in this game. They have to make this pistol round to be able to eliminate that match point. Deny.
Yeah, for sure. The pressure's on for them to win it if they want to keep this map alive here, because like you mentioned, otherwise it's just a free match point to come in for MLT. Now MLT, they're going to be the ones on attack here. They're going for a bit more of a mid play than we saw to come out of the NYX side for most of the duration. There is still Dobisky though, who's taking up so much space towards mid. Between her and Piety, they might be able to crunch the remainder of this squad. Capricious and Dobisky on the flank as well to just chow through whatever resistance MLT offers towards the doors, and now it's just Samfire in a 1v5. Spike drops, has to take these duels somehow. So many players on NYX just waiting for that peak. It looks so horrifying.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Capricious to finally get the last kill here and securing the pistol round, a much needed for NYX's side as well. I do like the crunch play here on mid. They were able to really utilize the stuns coming in from the Neon or coming in from Delbisky, and with that was able to secure basically all those 4 kills just on mid control.
Yeah, I think it was really nice, the kind of crunch coming in, especially that early mid take that came out of NYX's side. You saw how far Delbisky was in that first 15 seconds or so, and I think that revamp mid, it's kind of been what makes this breeze a little bit less annoying than the previous iteration. This time around, again, aggression to come out from Capricious towards the elbow to find an opener for the NYX side. Still though, it's going to be the tripwire setup that's intact on E, as it seems like MLT, they want to push forward, but again, it's just the Cypher utility being so pesky here.
still a play for info, and so far they've already destroyed one trap here. This pulls out, or this managed to pull out that one-way smoke from Piety. They know exactly where she's gonna be. This is gonna be that spray, and of course the stun from the tripwire coming in for her. The double kill settles in. Sapphire get the trade here, but Piety still very feisty. That's gonna be a 2v1 scenario. Okay, for Deity, she still has that opportunity to make this round happen, but this stun is just perfectly aligning towards her. No follow-up though from the side of NYX.
Still doable though, carefully. Sheriff in hand is aware of this possibility, but has to check the angle. Clearly not gonna happen. Kachao with the wraparound will be able to finally take her out. NYX, they extend their score to 3 here, and it's gonna be a much needed bit of breathing room. But that said, it's gonna make their bonus spy a little bit scrappy. You might see a full investment coming in. I saw some rifles being bought, and it's kind of do or die in this round because yes, NYX, they will have some upgraded firepower to work with, but they also have to win it because otherwise they're looking at match point with no money in the bank.
Definitely true. A timeout for NYX, Kyosei. They know it's gonna be that buy round from MLT side. I do want to say that despite having this big of a disadvantage, especially having a rough time when it comes to the time that they were on the attacker side or attack side, I feel like they are going to be able to utilize a lot of the potentials here, especially from this double duelist, Delbisky and also Capricious. You have that TP out from Capricious, obviously, that could go around the entirety of the site quite fast in just a blink of an eye, literally. And you also have Delbisky that could also be quite fast. You know, there's that unexpected pushes that can come from Delbisky. They just do have to really have that good of a read coming in from MLT side. And I think that could work.
It could indeed. I think that NYX, it's been a very slow start for them on this map, but once that side swap came in, they do look a little bit more confident. They've been making these kind of aggressive crunch plays that have worked out for them. And MLT, despite having that double duelist so far on the attacking side, they have struggled in regards of taking up space without too many losses. I think once again, just the fact that the Reyna can't really keep up with the Jet once the Jet dashes in. I think that MLT, they are changing up the pace a little bit. You did see very quick aggression to come out initially from them in the previous rounds, but this time around, they're just testing the waters across the map here, possibly pivoting over towards this A site instead of where Delbisky is still playing up close and personal. Now has information that there is some presence from the MLT squad around here, and there's just a crossfire being held.
That's going to be the stun coming in, trying to delay. They know there's going to be 2 people on back ends of the site. They also know there's a neon here. They're quite aware that there's going to be 3 people. And so far, are they aware that's going to be a lurk towards mid? That's going to be that surprise from Khan all the way from behind the players of NYX. Kyosei able to secure that double kill. And now it's a 5v3. Make it a 5v2.
30 seconds left.
Just such an incredible lurk to come out of Envious there to find those 2 huge openers. Now a 2v5 situation as that spike goes down. First kill at least coming through for Capricious, but immediate trade to be there from Luna. Now just Piety in a 1v4. Sheriff and Han can't find anything, and that's MLT for a match point here on their opponent's pick. 12-3 now, and staring down the barrel of the gun, there's just not much money at all for NYX to work with.
They just really had the perfect timing here. After getting reconned on the backside, they had intel, they had all the info that they needed. It was gonna be a triple stack on A, and despite having a camera set up on mid, they were too busy looking at A main, trying to control, trying to delay the players from A main, and was able to take up space freely, quite freely to be honest, here on mid. Now it's a match point for the side of MLT. The Tripwires will be able to stun out Envious for quite a bit, but it's only Piety on side. She has to wait for the reinforcement. She gets Elu though, at least for a V5.
My camera is this.
Kill numbers in favor as Heidi finds another kill from that backside. Kira Freddy finally taking her down, although there's an
Spike
immediate
down,
refrag
B.
as Kachao swings out, now playing through her own Viper Orb to possibly take up a little bit more space. Drone invested now by the Sova to possibly find the position on a little bit more of these NYX players, but only gonna be one who is really spotted out. Kachao, again, not able to reposition, but still does have some backup in the form of teammates here. Recon Bolt to come through to buy even more time, and in this 2v5 situation, 2v4 situation rather, it's going to be very difficult for them to find some space.
enemy
Sapphire though
remaining.
takes out Kachao, immediate reswing from Khan to find some more damage, and NYX, they hold on 12-4.
They have Kachao, they have Kaching. That's gonna be the peak coming in from Kon. Ferrari peak, as we call it here. Especially with the timing of the recon as well. And again, this rounds that we're looking at, this is the spark
enemy
that
remaining.
NYX Kyosei is trying to look for. But other than that, you just have to think that the buffer isn't there. MLT is just 1 point away from taking this map number 2 away from NYX Kyosei. But on the other hand, the good thing for them, they were able to secure map 1. So we really might be seeing a map 3 here anytime soon. But let's see if they can make a comeback happen. Delbisky and Piety already going in for that double kill. Now in a 5v3 situation, a little bit of aggression from Envious side. She knows there's going to be one in backside, but nonetheless, that's going to be Piety securing the kills instead. Whoop.
Exactly what NYX, exactly what NYX need to jump back into this. 12-5 now on the comeback. The comeback is on the line, and that was the flawless as well, which will let them extend their economy a little bit further. Their bank looking a little bit healthier here after that round. That said, though, it wasn't equal for MLT, and they're finally going to be having their full buy kicking in. No ultimates available for either side, aside from the Neural Theft for NYX, as well as the Empress for Eluvu, neither of which are very huge game-changing ults, unless of course they're in the right situation. I think that Eluvu in particular, she might be looking forward to really pump up that Reyna action, especially with this B side gonna be that point of contention. A bit of a split through elbow as well, and Envious and Eluvu, they're leading the charge.
Leading the charge indeed. Already through mid. They're not aware. They're looking at the Cypher cam, but a double kill from Kon saves the day. Instead, 3v3 situation. They're still fighting for their lives. Aphrodite securing one, but that reload. Capricious to take on the action. Now it's all up to Samphire. The Cypher so far goes for a peek. They know exactly where she's gonna be. The fake out is there. It's still not yet over. She can still isolate the fights here, but it's gonna be difficult. She doesn't have any intel where the other player might be.
Yeah, I like how NYX are playing this as well. They're just trying to take the 2v1. You can see that Kachao has made her way over close enough to the site to possibly find the trade. In fact, she's going to be holding the angle, and Samphire just was not expecting it. 12-6 right now. A bit of a resurgence to come out of NYX, and this is exactly what we saw on that first map as well. Literally mirror scores here.
It's like I'm dreaming. But you could definitely see how Kon really stepped up to the plate here, especially from map or for this map entirely. From the start till the end, she was able to pick up on very important kills and pickoffs here alongside with the rest of her teammates, and you could see that she's the one carrying this operator. An investment, a big investment coming in from NYX as well. Let's see if they can find the pickoff that they need. Envious with the Blade Storm, this can be deadly.
Just spot out Delbisky here against that first kill. Blade singing through here. That takes up a little bit more space. The operator not working out, but still the shots from the Blades, they go wide. And finally, Kon with the Sheriff.
I'm done with the op.
Out Envious. Yeah, Kon doesn't need an op. Kon just needs a Sheriff. However, there's going to be Capricious who finds an additional kill to Samphire here. Not really expecting the players on site. MLT only have 2 alive now. Eluvu and Kira Freddy struggling to really find that damage here. It's going to be Kon with the operator once again to do damage. That's coming in to smoke out Eluvu's position, and Heidi will find that final kill. NYX find themselves at 7, 5 rounds away from pushing us to a possible overtime.
Beautiful flashes coming in from Capricious as well. The side of MLT, the last 2 remaining players there, weren't really able to see half of the time that they were trying to fight for their lives in that scenario. And at that point, you see that 4 players are already waiting for them to come out. Any plant or any sound cue that they can do here could give away the position. Not only that, but one initiating a plant makes it a 1v4 situation at that point. MLT, they go for a timeout, a much needed one right now. They don't want to give away that match security, that map point that they have currently. Not only that, but momentum wise, NYX is definitely getting into that gears already. They're definitely, the cogs are working right now in a machine.
For sure. I think that if both Capricious and Delbisky continue to kind of have the rounds that they're having, it's going to be what they need to really bounce back here. I think that for the rest of NYX, they're support players. I say this in quotes because, you know, everybody apart from Adulis is usually often considered just support, you know. I think that all three of them have been doing a fantastic job. Con, of course, first, just being able to use utility to find those kills and get those multi-frags in line. Now with the operator on hand has been incredible throughout this game, but also Paidi and Kachao, they've had a little bit of a wake up themselves in the second half. So I think that NYX, they're finally starting to fire on all of these cylinders here. All they gotta do is really keep it up. Now though, MLT is their buy again, ready Lulu to find the opener onto Capricious, and a little bit of a distraction, space taken towards his A site as well. In fact, the spike itself, it's gonna be rotating over here, and MLT, they've already taken so much space on the side. Operator still in hands for Con, but it hasn't found anything at all.
Could still work though, but so far they've been really careful. They know there's an operator, but this Lear wouldn't connect to that operator as well. Con able to pull out the Hunter's Fury. Will it connect? It connects, but not enough to get that kill. Kachao to take on the action with that follow-up stun actually aligns perfectly here. The shock dart as well. Is it gonna kill someone? But Tripwire is there to take them out. 2v2 situation. A make or break for the side of NYX. It's either they win this or we go to map number 3.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh.
Possible though, it's gonna be Con to find that first kill with the operator. Now just Samfire, but Con, nothing can stand up to her. It seems that another triple for the Sova to keep NYX alive. Remember, the half started 1-11, and now it's 8-12. NYX only 4 rounds away from getting it even further here. But for MLT's side, it's definitely been a huge change of momentum here, from winning 11 rounds to just not being able to close this map out, and suddenly there's the potential of that 2-0 on the table once again. Economy broken for MLT. They have 4 ultimates to work with, but without that Blade Storm, it's just gonna be such a difficult eco round to get through.
Well, let's see what they're gonna do, what their plan is right now. It was a spark of hope for the side of MLT to finish this off, especially Capricious was immediately shut down from that initial pickup from Elu a while ago. But it turned out to be a different story. It seems like NYX, they're making a fairy tale happen here. Cinderella story, perhaps. Again, like you said, Zach, they do have lots of utilities to play around with here. Lots of ults to stop MLT to their toes. But also alongside that, they also do have that Viper Spit for MLT side. If they get a post plant here, this is doable for MLT to close off despite having this eco disadvantage. But that's gonna be Kachao securing the first kill, the second one even, but not gonna be that third. Con to go for that follow-up 4v2 situation here, Zach.
Oh, Samfire though, able to take out Paidi. That will let the neural depth come through, and suddenly this round, it seems like MLT, they still want to try and contest this here. 3v2 situation, Spike in control of the next squadron, and MLT, they're gonna have to not just retrieve the Spike in the next 30 seconds, but also either kill everybody else or get that plant down. Luna with the Sheriff doing quite a bit of damage on site, but still, it's gonna be her waiting for Samfire to come back. Already though, you can see Con just watching the angle, waiting for the push to possibly come out of Samfire. Recon Bolt does spot out a couple of Whiskey still finding the kill, and now it's all down to Samfire. The Sheriff is enough for Con. She doesn't even need the operator for that final kill, and NYX, they get to 9. It's just such a nice comeback to come out of VP and Co.
They're really having a hard time dealing with Con here, especially with this operator. in her hands. It seems like no one can escape the crosshairs that she has. If the operator doesn't hit, no worries. The sheriff will definitely hit the player that she's going up against. And from 11, what was the score a while ago, the first half? 11-1?
111.
Yep. 11-1. Now we are on a 12-9. It's just a matter of taking one step at a time. And are we looking at a comeback here? Or is it fake? That's the question.
I certainly hope it's a comeback because I really like these kind of Cinderella stories where a team just comes back from what seemed absolutely impossible. We've seen it with Orangutan before. I think that was also 11-1 half. So definitely we've seen game changer teams pull through it before. Khan still playing spoilsport with the operator. Hasn't quite spotted out the barrels. This timing might be incredibly important. NBS tries to come through and does in fact succeed. A huge opener there for Khan, finally taken out of that equation. Eluvu also advancing off the back of that first opening kill. Just Heidi on site, almost gets the lineup, but still, it's gonna be Capricious fighting all alone, surrounded by the MLT players, completely taken out. But Kachao, she denies that Viper's hit. It's gonna be a 1v2 once again, as NYX, they take back the numbers in their favor, and it's all down to Luna. Has the Hunter's Fury to work with, but once again, you have the wraparound coming in from Kachao. She might find the timing, she might be enough to close this one out properly here. No information for Luna, and it will be NYX to find 10. Only 2 rounds away from overtime. That is incredible in this half from them.
That kill towards Khan, I immediately saw the jet, the flashing of the eyes, like the operator is dead. It's time to make that action happen. It's time to push in on the site itself. Even Capricious whiffing a little bit to get this kill towards Envious. But the stop from Kachao, especially on that Viper spit from MLT side, was definitely a very pivotal point in this round. 12-10, Zach, 12-10.
12-10. I knew before the series even started and we were all talking with the analysts, I am pretty sure that we said that today was going to be a long day. And it's not just because of the difficulties, it's because of even how in the LCQ these two teams were so closely matched. Now Viper's pick coming through early on from the NYX side. Kachao though still at least able to find a kill before MLT take it down here. That said though, the Viper's pick, depending on it, that was how this team of NYX were playing on the site. 1-for-1 trade towards mid. 3v3 situation overall as the spike itself will finally get planted for MLT, and they have a chance to set up in a post plant.
Post plant scenario, make or break this time around. They do have a Hunter's Fury ready. Delbisky still has that overdrive. Smokes coming in, especially with Kphrodite still alive. But they can play around this. That's the question. Is this gonna be the overdrive? No! The overdrive doesn't get the kill expected by the side of MLT. And finally, the round that they were looking for to close things off was there. It was long overdue, Zach. It was a lot of rounds that we saw, but in the end, we're going to map 3.
We are indeed going to Sunset here, but talking about that map, absolute phenomenal show to come out of both the teams, especially from NYX's side. I know they lost, but hear me out. Having the mental to come back from 1-10 and finally lose 13-10, I think that it's really, really impressive for the NYX side. That said though, MLT, they're going to be breathing a sigh of relief. It got a little bit dicey there towards that second half, and it seemed for a second we were going all the way to overtime and there was the possible of that NYX 2-0. Unfortunately, at least for MLT, for NYX's side, it's not going to be happening, and we do have that map 3 coming in. But before we head to Sunset, let's see what our wonderful panel has to say.
I mean, 11-1 to 12-10 to that 13-10. I was on the edge of my seat. Oh my god, for a second there, NYX looked like they were going to take this one home 2-0. I got a bone to pick with Khan because my girl, it took her team being down 1-11 before she decided to wake up. But man, what a close game from both these squads.
Right, and you know, like we were talking about it earlier in the day, where NYX is really a team that it's so hard. They're so hard to count out because they'll do exactly this. They'll come alive in the second half, especially if they're on the back foot, and they'll just start doing crazy things. But again, just trying to break down the game for everybody here. I feel like MLT in the second half, while they did win the map, there was also some routing issues. Like, they had the right idea on taking the site, but once they started taking those site fights, it's when NYX really came alive. You know, Con had a lot of isolated 1v1s, and she played with her utility really, really well, despite having moments where, true to the Sova graphic, actually started playing with the operator, which, again, to the uninitiated, is quite uncommon in our pro scene. But, you know, that last round where NYX was just feeling really, really good, they thought that they had the momentum in hand, just kind of resulted in a bit of an overextension. But like you mentioned, still a really, really long series. We still have Sunset ahead of us.
Absolutely, and you were talking about the operator, right? It was the sheriff and operator combo that she was rocking as well. It's not the usual gun duo that you tend to see whenever one of the players whips out that operator. But looking at the stats, right, we've got 15 first kills for the side of MLT and very low post plant numbers. 0 out of 1 for NYX, 2 out of 3 for MLT. I think that just really shows in the momentum, the play style that we ended up seeing in the last 23 rounds. But talking about this long series that we've got ahead of us, both these teams will be going to that all-important map number 3 decider over on Sunset. There's MVS with the MVP on the Jet. Not a big surprise at 23% headshot percentage. She was like 25, I think 25-14 or so, 25-16 maybe, but just absolutely crazy.
That's true. And again, this is just a testament on how literally anybody from any team can go absolutely nuclear and carry the map and carry the series for their respective teams. But once again, I feel like that Jet pick is, you know, still very reliable despite all the nerfs that have come her way, and especially with the changes to having one less cloudburst and the primer for the dash being a little less active than it used to be. And to kind of jump to my next point, I feel like that Yoru pick, while it is creative, while we see the idea, it still needs a little bit more time to kind of cook.
Exactly, and I mean, MLT almost felt like they needed that map number 1 to start to warm up. We saw them just come roaring through the gates in map number 2. But talking about map 3, I mean, we have no way to know how this one is gonna go, right? Tournament life is on the line, to get to Sao Paulo is on the line, and what will definitely also be the very last competitive game of this year for 5 of these girls. Which way is that pendulum gonna swing? We're gonna find out right after this break.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the
One enemy remaining.
Show me what you got. Back down, up, back down, back up. 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 Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back.
Hi guys, and welcome back to map number 3. What will be the very final map in today's first series of the day 4 here at Game Changers APAC Elite. And it's been a hell of a ride from that map 1, especially that map number 2, and it's been so hard to call which way the series is gonna go, but we're finally going to get our answers by the end of Sunset, and I just can't believe that our decider is going to be on Sunset. I'm so hyped. This is the second Sunset of this tournament, and the first time, that we saw Sunset was played by NYX Kyosei versus Team SMG on Monday, and here today in their tournament elimination decider, we're here again.
Come on, Fifi, you can do it. I'm biased, but
Justice for Fifi. She's gotta make it through.
But here's the thing, right? Like, aside from my natural, I guess, bias towards the logo, because it's the greatest thing known to man. I feel like MLT...
For the uninitiated, I'm pretty sure, there's people in chat, they're like, oh, what is this Fifi they keep talking about? So NYX Kyosei's logo. Yeah, it's their logo. It's Liz Chen. Liz isn't playing today, but, she's also on the team, and it's Liz's dog that they just used as their logo. So, justice for Fifi. Hopefully they make it through. We don't want to be biased. We're not biased. We're rooting for both teams.
Exactly.
Teams.
And to the point that I was about to make, despite getting sidetracked by Fifi, is that, MLT have been doing such a great job of avoiding the conditions of NYX, which is to kind of avoid playing into them, because NYX is so hard to kind of, stonewall, right? Because of just their raw dueling power. If it's not piety, it's Con. If it's not that, Delbisky, so on and so forth. So what they've been doing is that they've been just kind of letting NYX Kyosei be a little more impatient than they usually are, and so there's a lot of these smaller skirmishes which force them out of their comp, which is so smart on the side of MLT. At the same time, NYX have to identify this problem so they can play as a group, play as a core, and so they can close out the series. You mentioned this exact comp actually behind the scenes, and it looks like they're gonna be doing that. I'm not sure how to feel about the Harbor. Harbor is very high responsibility and high execution. As long as NYX keep it in the box and keep it compact, they have a very good chance of taking the series away, but MLT, they've been very, very impressive of throwing a wrench in the plans of NYX, Kyosei, and Gang.
Yeah, that's what we were saying, right? So NYX Kyosei, they played this exact competition. They side for Harbor Omen, Sky, as well as Raze on Monday, where they got 5-13 against SMG. We were kind of wondering if they're going to stick with the exact same composition or maybe, cook up something a bit different. But you also had a lot of criticisms, right, in that map number 2 about how compositions sometimes don't suit the team. What are your quick thoughts about that before we get into game?
I feel like there's always the argument, meta versus comfort. And if you have not practiced the quote-unquote meta comps, then I feel like it's better to just go with your comfort picks because you understand how to use that and how to maximize every part, every agent of the macro. But again, Sunset is one of those maps where I don't think there's a completely established meta just yet. So everybody has the room to be a little more flexible and maybe impose their will just a little bit more.
Real quick before we toss, it's gonna be 2-1. Who's gonna come out on top?
As I've said, I'm a firm believer of NYX Kyosei. They've really shown that they have the grit to come back no matter what the scoreline is, and they kind of played the same even if they're down maybe 10 rounds or 1 round. They always have that grit and that aggression in their back pocket. I just really hope that once again they stay within the confines of their composition and maximize every little tool they have.
All right, well, we going to see, who wins this one, who goes home. Taylor and Zach, back over to you.
Or is it because the logo is a dog? That's the question, Raf. But anyway, welcome back here to game number 3, the designer map that we have right now. PP versus the rest of the world versus MLT Esports so far. And they've talked about it in the panel already here, Zach, the comfortability of the players. And I feel like watching the same composition against SMG the last time they played it, which is last Monday, by the way, I feel like there's a little bit more of a polish that they need. But then again, SMG is just such a powerful team, a powerhouse in top of this league so far.
Yeah, I think when it comes to SMG, they're kind of like the final boss that you have to really grind to beat. So that said, it was pretty impressive that NYX were able to put up such a good show on the attacking half. Sure, it got a little bit scrappy when they switched sides and SMG just didn't lose a round after that. But I think that definitely them being able to put up that kind of show against SMG and the fact that they have practiced this map a little bit more is definitely gonna be in their favor, especially with the double controller comp that they're running here. In fact, almost a mirror comp, like our analyst did point out. It's just that there's additional Sentinel on the side of NYX might make a little bit of a difference. Right now, though, it's gonna be a pretty straightforward hit here. 1-for-1 trade so far. Both of the raises being taken out of the equation, but MLT, they're quick to advance and find a little bit more value. Again, though, immediate refrag to come out of Zobiski. Beautiful paint shells to smoke Lubu out of the corner, and that will be the space that NYX need to take the side.
Flashed out in the corner. Envious now throwing in the waves here, as we say in Pacific. 3v2 situation, and of course the setup, the circumference of this entirety of a side covered with the smoke. Envious to hop out, isolating the fights left, and that's gonna be the double kill that they're looking for. Now in 2v1 situation, Piety knows that the fuse is coming in. She pre-fires through the smoke and tries to kill the diffuser of the spike, but in the end, that smoke coverage coming in from the harbors here was definitely huge in trying to maintain or contain the site itself.
Yeah, I think the harbor wall was definitely spoil sport here, but of course, just the positioning to come out of MLT on the retake, the way Envious was able to isolate this fight and got 2 free 1v1s and was able to win out both of them. Huge there for the MLT side. Really good start for them on this Sunset map. Now going to be able to buy up in the anti-eco. Carefully going to be sticking with only the Sheriff, but the rest of the team, they're going to have guns across the board. It seems like they're not going to be getting super aggressive though, despite that heavier purchase, just opting to play these angles up close and personal since those vectors do melt in that close range.
There's that alert from Piety. We know that she definitely is strong on that one as well. She always takes a little bit of map control away from MLT here. Not only that, but it seems like Piety, this lurks that she's giving off for the rest of the teammates that she has has been working out greatly on her favor. And not only that, for the rest of the team as well in these matches.
Now, though, she's going to be pushing up just a little bit too far. Immediately going to be taken out there by Samfire, who has switched over from the Cypher on those previous couple of maps to Sky. Now a push from Envious again, though, just a 1-for-1 trade, and that's a Spectre that will be retrieved by the NYX Squadron. Now Capricious looking super low here. However, with only 3 players left, MLT, they're going to look a little bit awkward when it comes to defending on this map. There is a little bit of healing that comes through, but Capricious not going to be able to take it out fully. Instead, Elulu pushing forward will be able to take Delbisky off guard here, and that will bring NYX down to just 2 remaining members, Kachao and Capricious, looking to make something happen here as they rotate her over to the B side. It's completely empty. They should be able to get a plant.
Capricious already on her way here. Of course, the heal that Kachao has been trying to give since a while ago finally reached her. The 3v2 scenario, and like we saw a while ago, MLT gave up a lot of space here. They know that NYX already has the Spectres as well. They picked up some guns here, the hands of Kachao. Post plant definitely set up already, and the time ticking away gives a little bit of a pressure to make something happen. No one really to get that, or no one really to be reckoned here or reckoned. But on the other hand, the flash settling in from Kachao. Capricious not hitting the shot. She still has the paranoia though. This can still make it happen. And again, time's dwindling away. They have to defuse the spike. No more choice. Kachao for the double, maybe for a triple, no. But that's gonna be not enough time to defuse a spike here. A thrifty round for NYX.
Really nice play to come out of Kachao, just playing ring around the rosy around the box towards B main to buy enough time and denying that final defuse from coming in. Nice attempt at a retake from MLT, but they took way too much time, and you could see that until the end nobody really got onto the spike. I like how it was the last bullet for Kachao to find that kill onto the diffuser here, and overall just a really nice round from NYX. The Fifi buff kicking in strong, and off the back of that they're going to be having a lot of money to work with as well, so definite buy round to be coming in. No ultimates on quite yet, although Kachao a couple of kills, but oh my god, Luna! That's just a free opener with the paint shells with the C's.
They do get that first kill towards Delbisky, removing her away from the rest of the team. And again, that's the only duelist that they have. Now they have to look for another pick off here in the hands of NYX, but this coverage for the side and giving away that sound cue as well, they still know there's gonna be someone in B main, but for how long? That's the question. They do throw also the recon coming in from that fade, and I think they know that it's gonna be a re-hit towards B, but Piety yet again. This lurks just gives them that initial pick-off that they truly need. Cove being set up. Con, on the other hand, checks the corner. They try to pinch in onto the side. They try to take coverage here. A 1-to-1 trade though. A 3v3 scenario so far.
Spike planted.
Yeah, these pistols from MLT's side really doing a decent amount of damage. Now that the spike, it's gone down, and the remaining players, they set up for a crossfire towards main. Immediate dart cover to possibly try to force them out of that game. Though spike gonna be tapped as well, so it's just the sprays coming in across the board. Not gonna be able to find a kill quite yet. Paranoia to boot here on to the players towards mid. Once again, a tap on the spike. Another dart cover to come through, and this time around, NYX with the weaponry, they're able to peek out and swing and find the kills as the dart cover goes down. Really nice round to come out of NYX, but that said, decent damage from MLT as well. They were able to find a couple with just the classics on the board, and I genuinely feel like if Heidi hadn't gotten this kill, if Samfire in fact had won out the engagement, remember, Heidi only had 20 HP left, I think that round could have easily been flipped on its head.
I do like her decision though to come around and wrap around with the rest of the team and help out on that post plant instead of dying off from a trade somewhere around the map. But to say the least, that was a difficult, or B main is a difficult post plant position if everyone is just staying there and no control over site, especially the fear of the unknown when you have a smoke up in your face on B main. Fortunately enough for them, it was an eco disadvantage for MLT side, and they were still able to secure that. It's a little scary though, but this time around we still have that 2-to-1 and a 5v5 scenario. No movements, trying to get intel, trying to get info from both sides of the teams.
door going to be closed now by MLT, making it a little bit more difficult for Bitey to really watch that particular angle, but will free her up to possibly take a little bit more of an aggressive control towards that mid lurk that we've seen from her so many times. The rest of the squad, they look to put pressure on this A side here with the spike. They've taken a lot of space, and now they might be able to even get it down. They're creating enough noise for the rotations to come in, and it's just Bitey watching the cross. I wonder how many she will be able to find. There's a lot of sound cues that come in, but Envious pre-fires the angle, and that will give her a reckoning to boot here. Going to be coming in off the bat, able to find a second kill as well. Although Delvis finally strikes back. The spike itself, it's going to be dropped on the side. With that reckoning coming to play, it's just so difficult for Capricious. Able to at least find that first TPs and will be able to reposition. But with 20 seconds left, she's going to have to be really
One
careful
bite is all
about
it
how
takes.
she wants to play this. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the dog fight, but
man.
instead it's just going to be the save.
10 seconds
This is
left.
gonna be just them giving trouble towards Capricious' side, not letting her pick up the spike in any way, shape, or form. She might hop out on this angle though, and Samfire is just waiting for her to actually peek. This is already the end of the round. The round goes to MLT's side.
we're doing.
The position
Trust each
here
other
of
and we'll be
Piety
fine.
was huge if you think about it. Unfortunately, MLT knew better. They know that Piety likes to lurk a lot. Not only that,
Enemy remaining.
but this giveaway intel already for Piety if you think about it. She knows there's gonna be 3 people trying to rotate, 2 people trying to rotate. She could hear it clearly as well. But instead, she really wanted to go for that initial pickoffs and try to stop that rotation coming in. But didn't work out for her that time. Reckoning immediately used here onto A. It's going to be an A hit, a big push from NYX's side. Let's see how this will happen as the Seekers is already trying to push them away.
Yeah, they've taken up space on side off the back of the 2 ultimates that they've expended so far. And MLT, they're happy to just hold on to CT control here, knowing that NYX are going to have to push somewhere in the post plants or risk just being run down as we saw in the previous rounds. Full 5 versus 5 situation. And NYX, they look to get a little bit more aggressive towards the spawn side. If this wall goes down, it's going to be huge here. Luke will already be able to find the first 1-for-1 trade. Khan holding strong though. Takes down 2 before Carefreddy shuts her down, bringing things back down to a 3v3. Now Boombot for Luna available. Carefreddy wrapping around as well to bring it down to just 2 players left. Taps the spike, tries to smoke out the position, but Capricious once again playing spoil sport, taking out a huge player, and now it's just down to Piety in the corner. She finds both remaining players, and NYX, they take the lead once again.
Really good take onto A. Really bamboozled towards the side. They have that reckoning set up. Not only that, they could time the smokes coming in from not only the Omen, but also the Harbor to make this post plant happen. And playing around those smokes is essentially huge for Capricious, even TPing out, just to make sure that they have that control and Piety can actually secure that double kill to end the round at least. 3-2. And this is going to be an eco disadvantage for MLT side, but they do have that Nightfall to get a recovery.
God.
But look at this! The shots connecting through the smoke as well.
What a haunt to come out of the Fade. It just revealed
Both
their
of the smoke
positions.
too, Zach.
Yeah, no, the smoke could really work in their favor because the side of NYX, they couldn't see the players pushing in on mid, but they could see them perfectly fine through the haunt. So it was just such a nice one-way, quick play from NYX though to go towards the B side instead to get a little bit more control. Now they look to take the fights up close and personal. Showstopper to boot, but it's not gonna find any kills as already Luna gets shut down by Kachao there. Nightfall to come out of the MLT squad now. 3v2 situation. They know exactly where the 2 players from NYX are positioned here. Dark cover to come out, but it's a one-way that Delvisky can use to play around. Flash to come through. Carefreddy trying to
going
stick the
for the
spike desperately.
defuse.
More than halfway there. They don't hear it.
They have to
They're not
peek.
checking. And that's a frozen fake moment. MLT, they take the round. What?
Fake, don't pros indeed. It was already too late. And again, you have a hunt that detected one person from NYX's side. It was very difficult for them to swing out in that positioning. And I feel like with all of the utilities being thrown off, with all that is happening on the site itself, they didn't get to hear the sound cue of the spike being tapped, or they thought it was a fake, but it wasn't. Like you said, pros don't fake at this time around. I think this is going to be a timeout for NYX Kyosei. And as we say that, this is anyway a buy round for them. So they really have to map this out, plan this up ahead. Because, like we mentioned a while ago, that deadly double kill towards mid, both of the smokers, Con and Capricious, were were the one who got hit. And because of that, they don't have any utility to play around with, a smoke to play around with, especially in that post plant situation. That's very difficult.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if it was just MLT picking their shots or just the way things played out in mid, but overall I just think Knicks were not ready for that kind of play to come out, and of course MLT in the retake situation as well. They did use burn through a couple of those ultimates, in particular that Nightfall from Eluvu, to be able to detect exactly where Knicks were playing. All three players back towards spawn, and they're able to just like keep the numbers in, even though the numbers were in Knicks' favor, they're still able to keep the defuse on their side and just stick it through. Insane work to come out of them. Now, though, buys coming through for both of these teams. And for Knicks, they only really have the Neural Theft to work with on Piety. Also, a quick rotation available from Capricious if she needs it from the shadows. But aside from that, Ultimate Economy, it's firmly in favor of MLT here. Both the Showstopper as well as the Seekers available for damage and information like Haunt to come out early on from Eluvu, detecting that presence towards a side, and it's just such a slow change of pace out of NYX to come out. They've been going for those fast and heavy hits in those previous rounds, and now instead, it's been a little bit more of a slower job, and again, just this mid lurk detected early on.
They pushed and they pulled. This is gonna be Piety securing one. There's one on default, and Delbisky to take on the lead here, take on the charge. A 4v2 scenario for MLT side. They have a Seekers available to use, but is it worth it? That's gonna be the question. First, they have to find the pickoffs here, make it a little bit less stress for them. But the pain chills connecting a little bit for Envious side, and this is already the first kill that they're looking for. The second even, it might be the Seekers hopping out. That's gonna be that Seekers. They find another Cove being set up. They have to destroy this. Capricious either needs to disrespect this smoke, but already the Samphire from behind. That's gonna be Capricious with a kill, and that's the double. The Spike Diffuser killed, and a clutch coming in from Capricious.
Well, Mix, they learned their lessons from the last Pro Zone fake round. Capricious, she made it a little bit close, a little bit scary. I think that there was less than half a second left on that defuse. But hey, the clutch still comes out from Capricious. And you can see in this Cove, she was really careful about her target isolation. She managed to take on Samphire first.
She knows her priorities here, Zach.
I like that to come out of her. So desperate round that NYX needed. Once again, gonna put MLT in a bit of a stall when it comes to economy, but they still have those huge ults, the Reckoning as well as the Showstopper for themselves.
What a round. And it was obvious from the last two games that we actually watched. Capricious was definitely having a hard time finding those frags, those frag moments, but this time, a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a confidence on those kills, on those reads for MLT side. And they make it happen. Anyway, a brand new round here. Deficit when it comes to the guns for the side of MLT. Piety from the lurk, already waiting for that push coming in from MLT. And now Luna from mid. Give me the ace. No, it's not gonna happen. Envious to stop her on the toes.
I think that's like the fourth or fifth 4K that we're seeing today without the ace really coming through. But yeah, in the trends of continuing it, it's just Envious now in a 1v4 clock already, having ticked quite a way through here. So it's just going to be how much more damage she can really find on the next quadrant. First fight coming in, finds the headshot, and that's going to be another kill that MLT Envious is able to take for her side. That said, though, it's a question of how much more that she can really do. You can already see NYX happy to back off here, keep the remaining guns and concede the victory to themselves. As MLT, there's just no time for them to really get the defuse. Envious on the hunt, looking for a little bit more, but it's just going to be her going down to the spike as NYX gets to 5 here. Another great attacking round to come out of them. And I think that even though they're not having the best success when it comes to these mid lurks in a lot of their buy rounds, that spray down from Heidi, it was just absolutely insane.
The coverage, the positioning, just perfect. Just a chef's kiss for Piety here. We haven't seen an ace yet in this series, right? It's always that 4K. It just never happens. But oh well, this is MLT. Really going for that timeout, much needed, time to reset, as we call it. And I do like that our decider is Sunset as well. I actually love seeing Sunset, especially here in Game Changers, because obviously another professional scene, it's not shown much yet. But here in Game Changers, they're happy to take on picking Sunset.
I do believe that the sunset that we saw on day one of Elite was the first ever sunset to be played in an official VCT tournament. I think so. I'm not sure about the Chinese ones because they might have picked it, and I haven't been really watching all the games. But I am reasonably sure that the one that we saw coming out of SMG versus NYX was the first one, at least in NA, EU, and APAC. So yeah, just putting that disclaimer out there. That said, though, NYX, they did pick that map against SMG, and they look really convincing. They look pretty good now to boot. MLT, though, after the timeout, they're gonna be having the economy to work with. Showstopper still online for Luna, and the Reckoning from NBS. You can see them scaling and taking up a little bit of more control, despite this harbor utility to come out of NYX's side. And NYX themselves, they're just waiting for possible pushes to come out of MLT, because it has happened so many times in the past before, but this time around it's just both teams holding their patterns.
They do pick up that orb as well. They do have that Seekers available for Kachao. A lot of util to be played around here. They have to be really careful. I think they're hyper aware that a Reckoning is also available in the hands of MLT here for that retake. Other than that, they do have a showstopper from Luna's side, and so far to play for that kickoff, but this is already a showstopper being pulled out right into the face. It didn't kill! It's gonna be Piety surviving! How did that happen?
Spike planted.
It's just one of those Raze ult kept moments that you really don't like to see. If you're a Raze player, that's not though Envious and Alubu between them, able to find 2 huge kills to make this retake suddenly look a little bit more doable. Reckoning still online, gotta be put into use here. Counter Reckoning to come out of the opponent's team as well. And you can see play pushes through her own goal, finds 2 kills already, and now it's just 1 player left alive here. Envious versus the world, finds the first, looks to isolate a little bit more, but the child puts her out of her misery, and NYX, they get to 6. It was such an insane round going back and forth between both of these teams, but in the end, NYX is just better positioning to come out of Con there.
I love the use of the Cove here, especially from Con. Like an architect, she made something new out of this map. Used that to her advantage to make a safe peek happen. Not only that, to really not allow MLT to make a retake happen here. They've used up all the utilities that they had there. The ultimates from Luna's showstopper not connecting at all. From that Reckoning being used up as well. And NYX still surviving all throughout. What a round indeed. 6-3, Zach. And so far, this is the most hype I was in casting Sunset. It's a good matchup.
It really is. It's so neck and neck here, because despite the scoreline being 6-3, right? So many of these rounds, it comes down to one huge play. And the one in that previous round, like you broke down so nicely, it was Con with the Cove to be able to use it to just isolate those fights. NYX, again, with the change of pace, they've been so good at just creating all of these fake impressions. Now, with all that noise being made towards B, they have drawn a little bit of rotation over. They look to aggress on A instead, where it's only Carefredy playing, and while she hears the sound cue, it's just her with the Sheriff going on side. How much can she really find? The Lulu with an opener onto Kachao, but still immediate trade to be found by Piety, and that will open up the site itself for the plan to come in.
Cannot discredit the Sheriff shots that they give here in Elite, and so far it's been working great. They get 1 pick off, like you said. We do have that deficit, but you just never know what happens here. We've seen it time and time again. They still have smokes to play around with. Elugu, I think, would hop out with a dog as well. They hop out on this goal. Con playing around it yet again. She can hide through it, but then again, they find it from behind, left, right, center, in front. There's gonna be NYX trying to pin down MLT.
They succeed as well. Like you mentioned, Colin just playing that distraction, everyone drawing all the MLTIs to try and finally take her out. And Welsh Ilumu like takes her down. It's still gonna come at a pretty heavy cost. The rest of the NYX squadron quick to find the refrags on the MLT players on site. And if you look at the scoreboard here, it's basically coming down to the Piety versus Envious show. Really, both players stepping up huge. And for MLT, in this half at least, if they want to put up a little bit of a stronger defense, they have to be a bit more proactive when it comes to their reads, because the retake simulator, it hasn't been working out for them really well so far. Early showstopper as well by Delvisky all the way through the defender's pod, in fact, to try and find a kill. Again, not gonna connect with the dog will.
I don't know what's better. The showstopper not connecting, she survives, but the dog kills her, or the showstopper just killing her off. But anyway, 5 or a 4v3 scenario here for the time. And NYX, they tried to take on, they planted the spike already, Reckoning being used up by Con as well. The battle harbor of the team! But that's gonna be Ilumu right around the corner. We'll take on the kill. 2v3, still a doable scenario. Nightfall being used. Perfect timing actually for that flash as well. Delpisky to save the day for the side of NYX. 8-3 scoreline.
Last
Yeah,
round
for a
in
second
the
I
half.
thought I saw Capricious's life just flashing in front of my eyes, the way the Nightfall and the flash came through there. But Delvisky behind the box, not going to be affected by either ult too much, does find the perfect timing on the swing to get those 2 kills. Another round for NYX, 8-3 right now, really running away with the half here. But again, today so far, right? Map number 1, it was a 10-2 half for NYX. It ended 13-7 or something. Map number 2, it was a 1-11 half for MLT, but it ended 13-10. So I feel like you can really not be sure as to which team is dominating until the game itself is over, because of how close these games have been going today.
It's too close. Too close for comfort, I would say. Any comeback can happen. We saw that from an 11-1 scoreline to a 12, what, 8-9? I forgot already. So many rounds that we're looking at here for these 2 teams. Remember, we still have one more series to go after this one. So, for the time, right now, you guys can get dinner already, settle up, chill out, and of course, watch the games with us. But this is the first pick-off that we're looking at from Ilumu. Very low on HP, but they do have the Sky. They can rotate to get that heal as well. But really big as Kachao is already down. They don't have that initiator. They don't have those flashes that they want to use.
Yeah, really nice opening to come out of MLT's side, and like you mentioned, the healing coming through as well. However, on the opposite side, it's going to be Piety once again on that lurk to take out Envious, who got just a little bit too far out of position, isolated on site. Now, a full 4 versus 4 retake. No ultimates available for MLT to try and work with. It's all going to come down to the gunfights. Early tripwire as well for information to possibly swing off of here. However, Luna, she's going to have to break it and go forward. Piety in the corner will be taken down by Aphrodite, but Delvisky inside the site, still playing spoil sport. Once again, it's Con with the goal to find another double. And just like that, NYX, they're gonna close things out at a pretty dominant 9-3 half here. Will this be enough to carry them through to the other side and keep themselves in elite? Before we head into the second half, though, let's see what our panelists say.
Whew. 3 and 4 at one point to 3-9 at the half. And once again, Ref, it just seems like the post plants are a problem for MLT.
Yep, that is definitely something that's been a plague that they haven't really seemed to find any way around. And I feel like it's because, especially with a comp that's almost mirrored, we see the philosophy of NYX being more centric around timing and MLT being closer to textbook with a lot of these trades and a lot of these, once again, set plays that they would wanna execute, especially on the post plant, but they really can't because NYX has been keeping them guessing, either from pushing their own smokes or just being a little more creative with how they position their Omen. And MLT, it's so hard to call this series because we've seen some of our teams, actually both these teams, really try and claw their way back to a deficit, or rather from a deficit, but it's always been the leading team at the half to really close it out. Not entirely sure if that's gonna remain the case, but either way, it's pretty much do or die for both MLT and NYX Kyosei.
Exactly, Sunset is the map that NYX Kyosei decided to let through. And I mean, aim duels, it doesn't look like that is the problem for MLT. I'm just not sure that in these last few rounds, if MLT can just suddenly figure out how to work out that post plan. I mean, what do we think?
Again, with the aim duels, the timings have just been so awkward for MLT because I feel like in their mind they still want to set up for a clean retake, but NYX is just so aggressive and they just keep taking those choke fights during the post plan.
Well, it's down to the wire. We're going to find out which team takes this map and takes the series.
The question remains here, Zach. How can a cove be so deadly? How? Just how?
You just need Con on your team. Just sign Con.
I know.
Give her the harbor.
When did you
What
see
you
a
gonna
Sova
do?
hold on to an operator in Breeze?
It's just the Con difference. And she's been coming up huge for NYX Kyosei. To recap a little bit of the team's history over the year, it's been up and down, but they were able to make it through that LCQ. In fact, both of these teams, it's kind of ironic that they're the ones once again in an elimination match after that LCQ. Or NYX with that early control though, Delbisky pushing all the way up through mid, able to find a pick onto Karaferite, and that's one of the controllers for the MLT side being shut down right off the bat here. Con still playing on site, not gonna be detected by the Prowler, will be able to call for the rotate. The Haunt gets broken though, and thanks to that, Luna's at least able to find a refrag for Reform.
They do really need to take up space here. Post plan position has been set already. Smoke helping them out, to say the least. For the time being, though, Samphire catches Spidey. She knows exactly the lurks that this player does at this point. Anyway, a 3v3 scenario. Anything can happen on a pistol. Capricious to take on the kill here. Do they still have a smoke? No smokes, but a flash settles in. No one to flash out, though. That's gonna be the smoke that they're waiting for. Capricious already on the defuse here, and now they have to fight for their lives. Kachao secures one kill, and the defuse is already set in place for NYX to take on the pistol.
Not like this. It was a Proso fake moment to come out from MLT, I believe, in that previous half. Now, NYX, they find their sweet revenge, Fifi and Co, to get themselves to double digits, 3 rounds away from sealing the deal here in the lower bracket and moving on, and 3 rounds away from bidding MLT a nice trip home and eliminating their chances of making it to Sao Paulo, Brazil. That said, though, NYX, they have to be able to convert this anti-eco. It's been a bit hit or miss for both of these teams today when it comes down to these kind of rounds. And MLT, despite looking down that possible elimination, they're not going to be really forcing up. They get the plants, but it's just going to be pistols across the board once again.
There's gonna be a lot for Con right now. It's gonna be a lot of people to punch down on, way down on. That's gonna be the last bullet for the player that she looks alike. That's gonna be Envious going down as well. 3v5 situation. She hops out of the smoke. She's not yet done. And Kafrodite to finally stop her.
One enemy remaining.
2 players left right now, and Heidi and Delbisky both quick on the trigger to take them out and win the round for Nixon. Almost flawless one. Sure, Con does get taken down, but still, that's still 4 guns that you're going to be able to carry on in the next round. And Con herself getting nice charges onto the Reckoning. Now only 2 points away, I believe, on that ult. So that's going to definitely be a factor in the next round. If she can get an orb and maybe a kill or just a couple of kills, that's going to be the retake ult that NYX really need to make it work for them going forward. MLT, though, this is their last chance to stop the bleeding here. Finally gonna be having a full buy versus the eco on the side of NYX. Will it be enough?
That's the question we are bound to answer in this round as well. Kachao goes for an early flash. She knows there's someone onto A main. Not quite sure how many, though. With this dog, she can assure how many there would be. That alone destroyed the 2 traps that the Cypher has been or placed out on the side. Luna to try and flush out enemies from the corner as well. This is already setups left and right, but no take on the side, no plant yet. And they're waiting for that tap. Elubu to get the pick off Luna for the second, and now in a 5v3.
Oh, they haven't checked. Did they check? Is there a player in the game? Okay, they took her out. Never mind. For a second, I swore I saw a ghost here. It's gonna be the fights from MLT, winning them out though with the weapon advantage. The Vandal and the Rain really coming in huge, and it's gonna be a flawless round to let them get a little bit of a breather back into this map. Sure, it was NYX's bonus, but that will buy MLT a little bit of space to work with, even despite the round deficit here. So if they can use this to start their momentum going, we've seen how they were able to really power through and bring it back on that map number 1. It might keep their hopes up.
Snowball might be there. We've seen it from a while ago. Could happen again with these two teams that we have. But it seems to be a one-sided match that we're looking at. But actions left and right, it comes to a point where it's a 2v1 scenario, a 1v1 even from time to time. And you just wouldn't know unless you have that good execution plan as well. And I think MLT so far is trying to get a grip on the reads that they're doing on how NYX plays here on this map. They do try to make information gathering essential for them and make use of it as well. I do like the position of the Blisky here, though. They might not expect this at all if they decide to go onto market, but it seems like it's a stack towards B main.
Yeah, it's just Envious trying to take mid control, apply a little bit more pressure, and try to make this high-low setup not really work in their favor. It's gonna be Piety though, thanks to the haunt, despite the haunt rather, to find out a huge kill. Second to come out from the MLT squad, however, they're quick to bounce back, and once again, they take side control with the numbers advantage. Capricious, the only player towards backside, gets spotted out, still finds the kill onto Kira to bring numbers back onto even footing. Now, for the retake, they don't really have any ultimates available for either side. Con, though, only one off of the Reckoning. She might be able to hold this round entirely in her hands, especially if you look at the full spans here. Despite the flash, it's going to be Kachao to take out Sampire. Envious, though, quick to bounce back and find one onto Capricious. 2v2 situation. Wall comes through. The spam is there, but it's not connecting. Kachao already halfway through.
They go for the defuse! No way!
Another pro still fake stick moment. We've been having a lot of those today, Alexa, and I don't think we're done yet because that's match
Not
series
like
point
this.
Not like
They
this.
used up the haunt here, but there was that smoke, that wall from the harbor. That was already the pivotal point. They couldn't know. They wouldn't know who's behind those smokes as well. The Cove might have been misplaced a little, trying to go in on the spike and try on defusing it, but didn't work out in their favor. And instead, they still used up that one harbor wall to help them out, for Kachao to just hold down the fort while they try and defuse the spike. 12-4 here. For the side of NYX, they only need one more point. Is make or break. Yet again, this is the last chance for the teams that we have right here to try and make it to Sao Paulo, Brazil. At least they let us breathe, right?
There.
I think everybody needs a breath after that round, especially for MLT, because that's gonna be a heartbreaker to have two players and still let the defuse be stolen away under your nose right there. Like that MLT though, they need 8 more rounds for an overtime. Reckoning to come out here as they push forward onto the side. Kachao still towards backside, doing her best to stay alive amidst this barrage of utility. The Reckoning though, it's perfect. The dash from Tiny to find at least one. However, NYX, they're quick to go back onto the side, and now it's all down to Kira Aphrodite. A 1v3, she's not gonna be able to do it. It is NYX all the way throughout. 13-4 on map number 3 to take the series 2-1 and move on in that lower bracket. Huge victory to come out of them, and they played Sunset so well. That's the PP buff we need and love.
It is indeed, and of course, congratulations for NYX for making it to the next bracket here on the lower bracket that we have for the next matches that they're gonna have as well. Good luck to that. But nevertheless, we say GG's, and for now, goodbye for the players of MLT. This Sunset map that NYX had, watching them play against SMG, like I said, it only needed a little bit of a polish, and for this map that they showed against MLT, it seems to be this is a comfortable pick that they have right now. The comfort agent selection that they also have well utilized. Nonetheless, congratulations again, guys. I know the panelists have more to say about this match that we had right here. This is only the first series. How are you feeling, Ray Repchu? Take it away.
Thank you, Zachar. It's almost poetic or pietic that we bid MLT goodbye on Sunset, turning down the lights on MLT's Game Changers journey this year. But Fifi, the absolute goodest of dogs, fetching NYX Kyosei that win.
Absolutely, and just to kind of address chat just a little bit, guys, if you're confused if my hair is long or short, I will introduce you to a wonderful invention called hair ties. As you can see, if you have long hair, you can tie it. You know, I don't even know why that's the question, but you know what? Absolutely, Fifi has been the goodest of all good dogs. You know, fetching that W, as you mentioned, it did look kind of shaky on Breeze, which was supposedly the map pick for NYX, but again, the playstyle that they just kind of displayed showed so much incompatibility, at least against MLT, or rather against MLT's plans, because I think it was very obvious in the last few rounds where we even talked about it during the halftime, where, you know, they're a little more timing based, meaning NYX likes to take fights before MLT can properly set up. And there was more than one moment where MLT was, you know, caught doing just that. NYX, though, a few times here and there did overextend, but with just sheer firepower, they did manage to bail themselves out of that type of situation.
Yep, just absolute willpower getting themselves out of that one. Piety 16-13 on the Cypher. Also want to call attention to Khan, that's 17-14 on the Harbor. I know, like, we had a couple of doubts about the Harbor on Sunset, especially how it meshes with the rest of their agent composition, but I think we got our answers. I think NYX and Kyosei have practiced this 5 composition pretty dang well.
And once again, I feel like although MLT was a little bit cleaner, or maybe just a little bit more present when it comes to utility, because we saw quite a few impressive plays come off the fade pick, but NYX, again, just outmaneuvering that and just really avoiding some of these conditions that MLT was showing quite a bit on Breeze. Again, post-plant, still a bit of a problem here on MLT side.
Yeah, and also, like, I'm just so disappointed from MLT. And you look at their first kill number, once again, 9 first kills. Like, their earlier games, they had, like, over 10 as well, map 1, map 2. And it just really shows that, you know, just in terms of aim, like, that is not the problem for this team. I mean, these girls, some of them have some pretty dang cracked out aim. It's just, they're just unable to convert that into the actual round wins. And I can't believe we're seeing them go home after today, but very well deserved. MVP going over to Piety on the Cypher, close to 200 damage per round, close to 20 headshot percentage as well. But I mean, on a map such as Sunset, just bringing so much utility and control of the site this time around.
That's true, and NYX Kyosei, again, frontlining really, really well with the rest of the squad. Khan has been a standout performer too for the rest of this, or rather for the majority of the series. And with her being such a problem, Piety's just been, you know, wreaking havoc in the back line, just finding all these small cracks in the defense that they've really been exploiting. But my goodness, you know, it is a little bit sad for us to say goodbye to one of our LCQ teams, which is MLT. Again, they've had a very, very long and arduous journey. And, you know, it just kind of sucks when we see a team fall short.
Yeah, just, you know, battle of the last chance qualifiers, 2 teams that made it through in those last 2 spots through to Elite, right? I mean, Khan, I'm gonna call her the win con for NYX Kyosei at this point. That's just gonna be, you know, our little new nickname for her. But yeah, we do have to say goodbye to MLT. It's always really sad when we do have elimination day and one team has to go home. But of course, it's gotta be someone, and this time around, that is MLT. Hopefully, we do get to see more of them next year because they are the newest roster that came into Elite. This is their first outing from them in Elite as well, the very first time that they made it into the Game Changers Elite, and this can't be the end for them. I really hope we see them come back next year.
That's true, right? As a squad, this is the first time for... Is it some of the players on the side of NYX Kyosei? Let me just double check that, because if I remember correctly, some of these...
Del Bisky, it's her first time. I think it's the first time for 2 of them, and then for one of their subs. Yeah, Paide's
Ooh.
first time too, actually. You would not guess that watching
Exactly.
them play. You wouldn't be like, this is the duo that's never played Elite? Like, how? Where are their nerves coming from? But yeah, it's
True.
the two of them. The cracked out emos on the squad. That's them.
And like with just the amount of confidence with their play style, it really is such a pleasant treat. But man, again, this is just a little unfortunate for some of our MLT fans here for the exit. But of course, Fifi still living for another day, for another run. Hopefully, in the latter stages of of Elite. But other than that, I feel like the series was pretty complete. There was almost a comeback. It was a pretty long. I think this is the first 3 series we've had, at least on our watch, because it was a pretty clean sweep 2-0 in our previous outing. Yesterday there was a 2-1, full sentence and RQ, which is pretty much the norm these days.
Yeah, besides that series, like every other series has been 2-0 except for the one that we just had last night. But guys, we got word from production. We got a special treat for all y'all watching right now. We've got a post-match winner interview with Delbisky on the line. Delbisky, can you hear us?
Hello, yes. Hello. Hello?
Hi!
Hello, can you hear me?
My volume. Hi, Delbisky! Congrats on the
Hey.
win. Thank you so much for the interview.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yeah. It's a bit soft, but we can hear you. Oh no, is she fixing her sound?
Hello?
Yeah,
It's
hello?
okay now. It's okay now.
Okay, thank you so much for doing the interview with us. Firstly, I wanted to ask, because it was such a long series and then you guys dropped map 2 as well. Were y'all nervous? What happened in that map number 2? Can you tell us?
On map 2, honestly, we weren't really expecting that. I don't know, 08, 07? We didn't expect that, but yeah. On the second side, in the second half, we managed to stay calm and just do what we practice, and then it's just unlucky for us but it's good that we got 10 from 11-2, 11-1.
Yep, 11-1, you guys nearly made the comeback, nearly 2-0 in the best of 3. I wanted to ask, because you're the only team that is playing Sunset in this tournament. Can you tell us more about that? You guys wanted to play Sunset and prep for it. Tell us your thoughts. What were y'all cooking?
I cannot really say that right now.
Don't tell us the
But-
strats.
Stop leaking
Yeah.
strats.
No. I was the thought process. No, not the actual
But
strat.
yeah, the knowledge of it's a new map, right? So we thought that we should take advantage of it, because teams were starting to learn from it as well at first. So we practiced Sunset and we polished everything just to be ready, especially that it is a new map.
For sure,
That's it.
definitely paid off
Yeah.
today. Raf, do you have a question for Delbisky?
If I'm not mistaken, this is or at least for a majority of you guys, right? This is your first appearance on Elite. So how's it feeling so far to being this close, actually, to getting that slot in Brazil?
Myself, I qualified once for Elite on Kyosei before, but honestly, at first, I'm not expecting that everything, because we're new, right? Everyone is new, so I just told myself that, and the team as well, that we should stay calm. Everything will be fine. It's just a game. Just play and do what we practice together.
I mean, it definitely seems like it's working out. You all have come such a long way. Thank you so much for the interview. Congratulations for today. And of course, best of luck versus RQ Kaguya tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, admins. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. I like how every time there's an interview, there's always like one part of the interview where you have to actively stop Raichu from asking teams their strats. Like, so what are we doing? You know?
Look, I wasn't asking for strats, all right? I thought I thought that she would be like, oh, we wanted to be the first team to play Sunset, or like, it was fun, like we want to see like, how far we can go. Look.
Yeah.
Jeez, whatever. I'm the host. You're overruled. And guys, that's gonna be it for our first series of the day. However, this is not yet it for tonight. We're in it for the long haul. We've still got Global Esports Phoenix going up against Scythe NWJ later on, right after this break.
Last 30 seconds left. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Got the money in the bank.
Show me what you got. Back down, back up, back down, back up. Back down, back up, back down, back up.